Hey guys, on today's Board Game Rundown, I'm going to talk about HeroScape news.
I got to play a Kickstarter that's live on Tabletop Simulator right now.
Ark Nova has a new expansion. What's in it?
What's in it? And we finally played a couple games of a full release version of Blood on the Clock Tower. Tim even did some live stream stuff with it.
The audio's really bad.
We need some audio fixes.
Yeah, the audio's really bad.
But we finally did it, guys. We have a full release copy in our hands, and we played it, and it was, well, we'll talk about it soon.
And also, we're going to share our favorite moments for Gen Con. All that and more. We'll see you soon.
We need it done this year.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Mike.
Dan.
And this is Board Game Rundown. Today, we are going to talk about some games we played. We're going to talk about some news. We're going to talk about a little bit of crowdfunding, maybe. And then we're all going to just share maybe like our favorite moment from Gen Con. Since I know Gen Con was a little while ago, but this is our first like new show
Rundown.
proper
Yeah.
since. And
True.
If you are aware of the secret mini pod, you already have heard some of my favorite moments.
Oh, yeah.
First, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, and do
Uh-huh.
all the fun YouTube things.
All the fun YouTube things.
Yes.
Also, make sure you are on the Discord, man.
Yes.
We are
Great
super active
discussions.
on Discord, always doing stuff. We, yeah. Facebook's fine too.
Yeah, we're there.
We're there. We're definitely
We're
available.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Especially this guy.
This
This
guy
is
is
true.
everywhere.
He
I'm
is.
everywhere.
We can't
Mike's
get him
killing
to
it.
You
shut
wanna
up.
Dude,
chat
he just
up
keeps
games, just
showing up.
Hit me up on the Discord. I'll chat you up about games. That's why
Mike
I am
is
here.
killing it.
That's right.
All right, let's talk about some games we played, boys. I know there's going to be like a huge list because this would encompass some things from Gen Con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's just bust through some of them quickly. How's that
Sure.
sound?
Well, I
Sure,
think games
yeah.
we played is going to be, like, I think the other two sections are going to be tiny, so.
Woo, you don't know about
Wow.
the news then,
Dang.
son.
I played Galapagos.
Ooh.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all
We
played
all played that
Galapagos.
multiple times.
Heligopos.
Heligopos.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Pronunciation TBD.
Well, it's like the
It's
islands,
fun.
right?
Galapagos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep. Yep.
that is essentially it's sort of like Lifeboat.
Yeah, it's kind of like cooperative until the food runs out.
I love that description on the box.
Yeah.
It's so
Until it
amazing.
isn't.
It's so perfect.
Uh-huh.
And that game is a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was okay.
It was fun. Too many sheets of metal in that game, I think.
Yeah, like
But-
one too many.
Yeah, like one too many specifically.
I was so glad that came out. Dan pulls out a gun to shoot me, but I drew a metal plate to block the bullet.
Yeah.
And I knew as soon as I draw that card, I'm going to win the game because of this.
Yeah.
In all fairness, you shouldn't have. The only reason you lived is because my partner shot me.
In my defense, I said, if you kill Mike, I'll kill Tim.
Yeah.
Because that way, Spencer and I could survive on the three
Yeah,
rafts
yeah.
that we had built.
Yep.
And Dan says, as long as Spencer survives, I don't care what happens.
Correct.
So we all agree.
And I was like, okay.
You're saying Dan's a liar because he clearly cared.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh.
But so I shot Tim, and
Uh-huh.
he shot Mike.
I don't care that
and
I
then
died.
shot Dan, too.
How I died. It was
I couldn't
very
remember who
weird.
tried to shoot me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all want to save Spencer because he had the card that allowed him to
Spencer
get
was helping
double
a lot,
water.
and I had
so
lots of
he's
bullets.
just out there with his bucket, just
Working a
doing
lot,
work, and
doing
we're
God's
like,
work.
He
Full
needs
disclosure,
to
I was
survive.
fine killing Spencer.
What's hilarious
But I also
was-
knew I was going to die.
What's
Yeah.
hilarious was me, Bob, and Spencer were the survivors,
Yes.
and we were the three that arrived on the same vehicle to Gen Con the next day.
Oh,
Yes.
And we came up to you guys like, hey guys, the survivor raft has
That's
arrived.
right.
That was fun.
It was
Very fun game.
It was a lot of good times. Yeah.
No, Galapagos was,
Yeah, it
was
was
a good
fun.
time.
Good
What else you got,
what
Bob?
else? Oh, man, yeah. Come on.
We played long shots. That was more
No,
more
I
recent. Oh, you didn't play that one?
Uh-uh.
Not at Gen Con.
I've
we didn't.
played it.
Not
but
yet.
Yeah. We played long shots though. Rolling right with
Did you both
horses.
buy it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
And the promo stuff.
Yep.
And it's a blast.
It's a blast.
I
Long
love
shot's
it.
good.
I
It's
love
good.
it.
There's kind
It's
of a lot
okay.
going on. I was teaching people who don't typically game, and they were a little overwhelmed at first. But once we started like 4 or 5 rounds into it, they're like, okay, and they started getting it, and so not so bad.
I mean, if you like, caving to your animal instincts, it's a totally fine game.
Oh,
I-
Yeah,
God.
I do.
Mr. Non-better here.
Listen. For a guy who doesn't like horse racing, he's on a really high horse right now.
Yes. Yeah.
That's dangerous.
And it's going to win.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the horse got high, but you should get down.
Oh,
It's
boy.
dangerous.
You want to take bets on me
Butterstuff.
slugging
Yeah, butterstuff.
Dan to keep scrapping on games I like? Anyway.
What's the next
Yeah.
game I'm
What
hitting
else,
on,
Bob?
Mike?
What else you got? Go ahead. Somebody else throwing out there.
Mike, let's just talk about Cubitos while we have a chance.
Yes. I mean, I'll
Still
always
never
talk
played.
about Cubitos.
It's great.
Snobs won't play it
Who
with me.
won that one? It wasn't me.
Me, remember?
Oh,
Somehow
he ran
I
away with
Oh,
the
he
game. That's
did.
why he wants to talk about
Yeah.
it.
Oh, no.
It's like, oh yeah, hey.
He literally ran away. He
Oh.
was swimming in feet and went ring, like
What's
way
a high
back
score
here.
mean? High score?
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it's not.
Go
It's
ahead.
just finish the
Well,
race.
go ahead.
Well,
But,
yeah.
well, I just thought you
Oh,
wanted to
wait,
talk
so
about
you
it.
were playing a racing game? You savage.
Well, I wasn't
How
betting.
dare you?
I wasn't betting on it.
He was
I was
forced
just
to.
racing.
Ugh.
You know, there's difference. There's
I was
Oh, so
taking bets.
but you're
What
okay
do
with
you-
people betting on you?
What do you
racing, as long as
think?
you're not
No.
the one betting.
no one was betting.
That's
on
right.
it.
Oh,
What he didn't
we
know
were
is
all
that
had side
before-
bets.
Hey, you were passed out, sir.
That's true.
I was smart and went to bed.
But
Get
Dan,
up,
go ahead
man.
and make your comparison. You said it's a lot like Couriers, which
Yes.
I've never played.
I haven't either.
Cubitos is
I love
extremely similar to Couriers and Dice Masters. If you guys have played those, and I didn't know that going into it because again, Mike hadn't played those, so he had never explained it like that. He was just like, "Oh, it's just like a racing game, and you're blah blah blah," and it's just like, "Oh,
I did
okay."
explain it just like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
like
and it's
that.
like, oh, and dice and stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh, thanks, Mike, you're great at this. But so we sat down to play it, and he made up like the market of like the dice you can buy, and I was like, huh. And then like he explained like how the dice rolling mechanic works and stuff, and I was like, okay, Mike, this is literally just Couriers, and then they just added a racing board in the middle, right? And he was like, what's Couriers, Dan?
I also
It's really
did
weird
Just like that.
Mike's arms move.
I'm
like
a
that.
really
know.
good
It's like
impersonator.
When he starts talking when he's not on camera, his arms just do this.
Yeah, it's just-
I have a stunt double just to be that flexible.
Yeah. No, but yeah, so Cubitos, I don't know if you know anything about who it's by or anything, but it's
John DeClaire, AEG,
oh, yeah, that's right.
ranked somewhere in the 300s, which is criminally low. I've already got this game in my top 20. I love that game.
But
It's
yeah,
very
if
popular.
you like the basic idea of how the dice pool building mechanics work in Couriers and dice stuff, but instead of fighting each other, you have like animals, farm animals, and you're racing around a board, and you're trying to be the first person to make it around. So everything you do, all your dice are upgrading how much you can move, or and how much money you get so that you can buy more stuff and everything. But yeah, it's an interesting twist on those famous games, and I walked in not knowing any of that.
Nice.
Then he crushed me at it.
Yeah. Well, someone needed to.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I
What else
needed
did
to
you
make
guys
it not
play?
your favorite game.
I
Anymore.
can't believe. Well, I guess Galapagos. I was gonna say I can't believe we have. Zero
Yeah, well,
overlap
Dan
so far.
Spencer, and I don't think we talked about it on the show, played Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you played that
board
at Gen
game.
Con.
And while I enjoyed the game, like as a game, I thought it was interesting. It didn't feel like Dead by
It
Daylight.
didn't feel like a Dead by Daylight.
I'm glad Pete's backed it, so we will see like the final
Yeah.
version and
Right,
whatnot.
and he'll have the extra characters and stuff too. I'm sure because
Yeah.
he's Pete. But
So did you play a full game or did you just demo it?
full game.
Full game.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we played a full game, and it's some pros and cons. So the lady teaching us clearly didn't fully know how to play.
Right. So
Correct.
you also weren't provided with maybe an optimal.
Right.
Situation.
But even with that, though, what Bob and I both said when we walked away was that game was better than we thought it was going to be. Like,
Correct.
it was a fun game.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, the theme is so clearly pasted on.
Correct.
Right? It was like, hey, we have this idea for this kind of theme or game. Let's just put
Yeah.
Dead by Daylight on it because we can get the rights to that, But, like, the actual game mechanics as a light, one verse mini game and stuff,
Yep.
it was fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give it props to that because I was scared I was gonna hate it.
Yeah.
But if you are only interested because of Dead by Daylight,
it's not going to.
It's not gonna do it for you.
It doesn't give you
Not
that
gonna do
tense like looking over your
Yeah.
shoulder feeling. There's no music
Yeah.
included.
I was really surprised when we were handed those like 3 or 4 cards at the beginning. It was like, those are your cards for the game, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Like the whole game? That's it?
That
I can only do
changes
these
things.
things? Okay. And so
Yeah.
I'm only going between those couple locations or in a circle.
Yeah, so like if you
and-
don't get a crouch card in your opening hand, you can't take
Yeah.
the crouch like from one spot to another the whole game. So
Right,
you have to
unless-
you have to like find out how to path around that.
Correct.
Stuff, or
Yeah,
use
there's some things that have
abilities.
ability to be like, move an extra space, and that lets
Right.
you move any space.
That's interesting. Then.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And like, man, like it's neat because the killer will have the ones where like they can like walk around the outside and really move like 3 or 4 spaces at a time by taking like the one long path around the
Okay.
thing. Yeah, but it was interesting though.
That's a bit more promising than the generic rectangular white boxes that the board is. That sounds
Right.
more interesting than it looks. So
That's what I'm saying.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
It
good.
was. I still don't know if it's going to be your favorite game ever, but it was more
was
interesting than we
expecting.
thought.
Yeah, it did seem like a much lighter version of a 1v many type of game.
Right.
Yeah.
I won't go into it too much because the other guy's not here, but Spencer and I actually sat down and played a full game of Unsettled as well while we were at Gen Con. Finally, the Orange Nebula makers of
Vindication.
Vindication.
Yep.
I can never remember that name
I
for
have
some
played
reason.
that before as well.
But
What's
yeah.
funny is I can always remember Vindication. I cannot remember Orange Nebula.
Oh,
So
okay.
That's the hard part to remember. Yeah,
that's the hard part for me. So it's a good thing you're there and I'm here.
right.
That's the only time I'll ever say that.
Accurate. So Unsettled is a cooperative game where you've all like crash landed on a planet and then it's just survive and accomplish the goals. So like we had to I mean, and you're kind of figuring out the goals you're doing. You're going through like challenge cards, I guess you call it. Like there's a deck for the planet. Like the first one is like build an engineering base, and so you got to kind of look around for a spot where you can build an engineering base, and then it's like, okay, go to the next card. Okay, now your objective is this, and you're trying to go through the like 5 objectives, whatever it has for you, while working together and like leveling up your character and controlling your sanity and stuff like that. And obviously, Orange Nebula, the components were off the charts.
Yes.
Just an insane quality to their games. And a really fun, difficult co-op.
Yep.
You know how much I like those words.
like
And I would throw in there, man, the only thing, my biggest diss on it is the shape of the box, which I kind of, so it's weird. They call it like a gaming system because like the planets that you play on are all little tiny boxes, and like the main box is huge. And when you take the lid off of it, you've got enough to store like 1 or 2 of those planets inside, and then you can take that with you. You don't have to take all the extra stuff with you, and then you want to change planes, you just swap out what's inside. Every planet has its own like game trays to hold all the bits and stuff in there, so it's a really neat system. It's awkward on the shelf.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Especially because for transport, you have to also choose
Pick
what
which
you're
planets
taking.
you want to
Yeah, you
have.
have to
And
say
then
these are
you
the 2.
also then awkwardly store everything else.
Yes, on the
not-
shelf.
yeah,
well, they
it-
do fit next to each other on the shelf, but it still just looks awkward.
Yeah.
And one of the things I will say though also is the initial launch, all their planets like except for the starting one are like level 3 difficulty out of 4, level 4 difficulty out of 4, and people were like, okay, these are way too hard, and so they just completed a Kickstarter where you could buy some new planets, and there's some more 1s and 2s in there to
Right.
try to ease you into some more.
Right. It's just funny that they
planets.
launch a game though with a difficulty system, like out of 4 stars, then they're all like
they're all
3.
hard,
And it's
yeah.
just like why are there star ratings?
Yeah. So
Oh man, good times.
Scale of 1 to 1.
Let's see. We've played Marvel Remix a million times.
Yep,
Yeah.
just a fantastic game. It is probably my regret not buying one while we were there. Dan had one. We played the crap out of his, which is awesome because Dan and I kind of had high hopes for it. We're like, please don't suck, please don't suck. It did not suck. We played it a ton. It plays super fast. But I know it's going to be it'll be at my game store probably next month.
And
So-
affordable.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have probably played it. What's it been, like 2 weeks or something? Week and a half, 2 weeks or something.
yeah.
And I have probably played it 20 times.
And I've,
Wow.
and I've at least played it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Which for us,
Yeah.
That's
like
pretty good. 'Cause there's a lot of other games we need to play
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So to be able to do
Excuse
it
me.
3
It's
times.
it's one of those games, and of course, I'm going to remind everybody again that I bought Fantasy Realms the week before Gen Con, not knowing Remix is coming out. Like, you gotta be kidding me. And I have played Fantasy Realms like 5 times already. It's just one
so
of those games.
Fantasy
You just
Realms
play it and
was
play
a
it.
game that we played a couple
Yeah.
times also while we were at Gen Con. I really love it. Marvel Remix I like more only because Fantasy Realms intentionally is sort of generic fantasy,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Very intentionally.
Yep.
And that's not a knock on it because the first time I played it, I'm like, oh, this is kind of ugly and bland. And then I'm like, oh no, wait, like the gameplay is so good. And then I grokked like, oh, okay, this is on purpose. Like this is a decision and not like, oh, we couldn't afford an artist.
Yeah,
you know
like,
what I mean?
Sure. Or like, oh, it's 10,000 to use the word drow.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna do it.
But the generic fantasy theme for Fantasy Realms works really well. It's an excellent game. Like Mike, it is a game that I was going to buy, but then I was like, well, Marvel Remix is coming out. Let me see what that's like.
So unlike Mike, you paid attention.
Well, I do a news segment on a pseudo popular.
I
YouTube
remember
show.
during
Pseudo.
the
Very
you said you
pseudo.
weren't sure what Remix was.
Pseudo, yeah.
Because the name, you had no idea.
Yeah, that's true.
We
But
weren't
anyways,
sure
Marvel.
what that game was going to be for a
But
second.
Marvel Remix absolutely integrates the theme really well into a system of a game that it's not pasted on. The theme makes sense, and they just did a really good job. It is a freaking home run.
Streamlined. I like the villain deck.
You guys did a review of Remix?
We did.
Yep.
That'll
Okay.
be coming up soon. Probably
like-
be somewhere up there.
Yeah, I do not believe it's out yet, right?
If,
But
if
coming soon.
I was not on that review, but I'll just tell you, I would give it a 9. I would
Nice.
give Remix
Oh
a 9.
man, we factored you in for like a 3.
Oh,
Wow.
dang!
yeah.
Now it's only going to get a 2.1.
It will.
Anyways,
the one, he's correct.
That's right.
we did play a game of Green Team Wins, which is really good.
Yeah.
I made a bunch of people play Happy Salmon with me.
Yeah, I was waiting
Yeah.
for that. We can skip that one now.
Nope,
What's next?
love Happy Salmon. Let's go into the Happy Salmon a little bit. North Star Games.
No,
Happy
seriously?
Salmon is rated. No, I don't have it written down.
All right.
Well, actually, I should point out, though, really quick, since we're on this, I purposely didn't say anything while we were there because it's just not my responsibility, right? But Tim said, Dan, play Happy Sam with me,
And we'll play Yu-Gi-Oh.
and we'll play Yu-Gi-Oh.
I brought it up, and you never brought it out.
Never happened.
I brought it up.
Can
Can
I
you put a
said,
time
Daniel,
frame on that, though?
when are we going to play
It's-
Yu-Gi-Oh?
so
That's
happen.
true.
Oh.
That's true.
Happen.
Sometime in the next lifespan.
Yeah, sometime.
This is why you're at my right hand.
What was next? Imperium Classics and Legends.
Yeah, I
Ooh,
need to
yeah,
play this
yeah.
more.
Yeah,
I really
that was
enjoyed
good.
it.
What a fascinatingly deep game that I'm just like, oh my goodness. And then I guess we might get into news on that later as well for Imperium, right? But so how the hell do you describe this game? Everyone has an
tableau
asymmetric deck.
building.
Yeah, tableau building, asymmetric
like
faction,
civilization
yeah,
factions.
civ.
Yeah.
You're just trying to work your faction better than everybody else.
Yep.
as
Do what they
quickly as you
do
can.
better than everybody
Yeah,
else.
because there's
does
a
what they do.
deck you have to get through to win, basically,
Correct,
right?
yeah.
And so you're trying to advance your civilization, and that moves it through this deck until you can get to like peak civilization and win, basically.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And you just have
That's
to
about
have
right.
the
Yeah.
peakiest of
Yeah,
civs.
You
you
did
need
have
the
the
peakiest.
peakiest.
But
Yeah.
like, oh
Of
my
civs.
goodness, everyone felt so different. The mechanisms were fascinating.
Yeah.
I just, man, what a cool game that I really want to play again.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually ended up finding a copy of that out there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know,
saw
and-
that.
and-
You got Legends, I think, right?
I think so. I think so.
It is a game that I will be buying soon. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that right now, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. I'll talk about it right now. We played
Ooh.
Carnivalesco.
Ayo.
Oh, yeah.
Our friend of the show,
Friend of the show.
Ron Halliday,
How you
brought Carnivalesco along with his upcoming game, Hike It.
Hike it. Yeah.
And
one looks
that's
good.
coming to Kickstarter
That's gonna be
soon.
cool.
And I believe we're going to get a
preview
review
copy?
Yeah, like a
Review
preview
copy?
copy for us to play and talk about before we have to send it on. But
Yeah.
he taught us how to play his game. Okay, so I follow him on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Friends with him on Facebook, and he's posting pictures of Carnivalesco all the time. And I'm like, dude, like,
What is that?
I need to play this. What is
what
this?
that?
And he's like, well, it's only in Brazil, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's all in Portuguese and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but well, he brought it, and then when we got to meet him in person for the first time, like it was so awesome. He was just
Super nice
everything,
guy.
everything you'd want it to be when you meet a designer that you
Mm-hmm.
like, and somebody you're friends with, at least on Facebook.
Right.
And he's like, oh, do you guys want to play Carnivalesco? Boop.
Yes.
Yep. It is a total, not just a Sagrada killer. It
Killer.
is like if you could go back in time and erase Sagrada and murder the designers before they
Wow.
could
My
even
goodness.
conceive them.
Wow, that took a turn.
Carnivalesco is really good. We do not condone murder.
The thoughts of Tim do not necessarily
Represent-
represent
yeah, disclaimer.
the thoughts of the War Game Rundown.
All true. But no,
Speak in jest often.
So the amazing thing to me about Carnivalesco is it is a dice drafting game, and like Sagrada, the die have colors, and you're drafting them, and there's different spots on your board and different ways they want you to place them. But
Yes.
the way that the game itself actually explains what the Brazilian Carnival
Right, the
Festival
theme.
is.
Yes.
The theme is so amazing.
Yeah.
And you're going through and you're like, oh, this all makes sense. And the way that things on your board over here affect things on your board over here and over here and over here. And somehow this game, while I love it, I hate it because Dan nearly got a perfect score.
Well, he did have a lot of help. The designer was
What are you
literally
talking about?
sitting next to him, helping him.
He didn't
Yeah.
do anything.
But
So yeah.
I am just great at spatial games. Sorry, guys. No, but so the only problem. So again, a lot of people love Sagrada, which is the main reason I like comparing them. Because if you like
Yeah.
Sagrada, I think you'll love this game.
Correct.
The thing that you guys might have issues with is that in Sagrada, you put that card in, and so
it
your
changes
board
each
is
time.
different every time. This is the same every time.
Uh,
But he is talking about future expansion module stuff and everything that
Challenge
like
modes
that
and
yeah
things
that
like that.
change how
well,
that
you
will
do
work.
have the S class and you've got to like.
Oh, that's true. The board at the top
Yeah, which
changes.
changes.
That's true.
Uh,
I'm just saying that in the base thing that we played,
Sure.
the 9 things, whatever, will
Correct.
always be the same. But the whole point is how the hell do you put that puzzle together?
Because unlike Sagrada, also right that card and it says you can only have reds here. Well, that's not how this board works. This board is like, and over here you need to have all your die total between 13 and 15. So you can do that any way that you can,
Right.
but with 4 dice. And then over here it's like you have to use one of a die you've played
Somewhere else. Yeah.
and you can't pull from the same thing more than once.
Uh-huh.
So you've got to then be aware of that. And then down here you've got to use one
That you haven't
thing
used
that
anything
you-
at all.
You haven't used
You haven't
anything
seen it anywhere.
else. So yes, you are right. It will always be the same board essentially, but the way that you can solve those puzzles can be different
Yeah.
every
Right.
single time you play.
And what's super unique is like it's so like on theme to where in the Carnival, like this pageant here, it's always a couple and they're dressed the same and a couple dressed the same, and so they have to have the same color and you have to have the numbers need to match up, and so it's just really neat and thematic the way the rules and everything kind of.
So
pan out.
all of that goes into Ron is hooking us up and getting us a discount on having a couple copies of Carnivalesco
in America
imported into the United States.
Yeah.
So I'm not buying the Imperium stuff right now because I'm
Okay.
sitting on that money to pay for my Carnivalesco.
Fair.
Because just to be able to have that game in my collection is going to be awesome. I'm hoping he talked about it maybe coming to Kickstarter and coming to the United States sometime soon, but I want it now.
Yeah,
You
why
know?
wait?
And also, like, we're getting like the full version, like
Right,
the deluxe
Kickstarter kind of
version.
version.
I am now
with that.
sold on playing this game. The box is gorgeous.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
and this
beautiful.
is a theme that's never been done. I'm all about unique themes,
It's
not
so-
trading stuff in 17th century Europe.
It's-
Thank you.
it's-
Thank you.
But again, not only is it so unique, but it also legitimately helps you understand what that festival's about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Very
And-
cool.
Which
Very
was
cool.
just like I was just playing it, and it's like, this is amazing. I had
Right.
no idea. Like he kept telling us.
Yeah.
and it
Why
was
it does
so-
this? Why? Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
and then we were even joking because when we were scoring, when you would get a scoring tile, we were joking because you were announcing the school that would get
Oh,
the
yeah,
scoring
yeah.
tile because like they do on TV.
Yeah, they
every-
announce the voice. Yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah, they
and
were
he was
all,
doing the whole thing.
"Hey!"
Yeah.
on each section of the board, you're getting a score from 1 to 10,
Yeah.
or whatever, right? Unlike your score that they would
Right,
give you in
the
a
judges would give
competition and
you.
stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's your total scores, all those added together. And then one other thing, because Tim mentioned it, but with how interested you are, and you guys might be too, is so the way it thematically explains all the things is just really cool. Like, so the two that I can always remember, so I can explain it to people, is so there's one that has to be none of the same color or numbers, like unique dice in all four. And that's because the floats that you want in the parade need to all look different. They need to all have their own theme to them and stuff,
Yes.
right? So the floats need to have nothing in common in this parade. And then the one directly to the right of that has to be the exact same dice in the exact same place you just used, because those are the flags that you are hanging around the city for the float. So they need to represent the floats that you are bringing to town. Like,
yeah.
it's
Dude,
all
it's really
thematically
so
tied in.
good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I loved it.
I mean, that's just kind of like what he does too, like the 7 bridges, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well-
like
Right.
all based on that. And then there's the hike it. It's actual park, and you're walking the
Yeah.
actual trails to see actual sightseeing things.
Yeah.
Like
Another
it's,
theme I'm super interested
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
I'm
Or
a
the-
big camper. I'm the outdoorsman here.
yeah. And one of the cool things about that is when you finish your little hiking trail and get back, there's bears, and you get to be the bears and try
Yeah.
to attack the other hikers and take them out. That sounds amazing.
Look at how sad Mike looks.
He looks so sad.
No, no,
And if you
I
watch
like
any of our
that.
videos,
I
you
like
know
that.
We all
that
laughed
Mike's
so hard
resting
at that.
face is not that.
Where's that picture? of
Yeah. Yeah, there it is.
And now we need the dopey Kids Spirit Island.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll
guys.
fix that.
Yeah.
Let's see. We played a bunch of Turing Machine.
Yep.
That's another review
I
that
haven't
actually
played it
just
yet.
came out.
Yep.
So that one will be up there. Really good logic game where you're trying to solve a 3-digit code by asking a computer question.
Basically, yes.
Let's see.
We played
Acropolis?
Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah,
we
Las
played Acropolis.
right,
Las Vegas is an older game, dice game. You
Ravensburger or
used to
something
be
like
able
that.
to just find them at like Targets and stuff.
Ravensburg. Yeah, now it's hard to find, though.
Ravensburger. Now it's a
Rudiger
little harder to
Dorn
find,
game.
but it's a fun little. You roll
Playing
your dice.
dice,
You're trying
area
to assign
control.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little area
I've played
control. in there.
way too much of that game.
Also, I won a game that was themed with Las Vegas. What's going on?
Didn't
There's
count.
something
All right, guys,
weird.
It's been fun.
There's
Didn't
something
count.
weird happening
No,
in the
Mike,
universe.
as a
You
matter of
debased
fact, it's
yourself
not
enough
even
to play
fun.
to
This
play a
is terrible.
Vegas type of game.
Well, you
You're
guys
right.
were begging me.
Well, that's a
We did play a game that I still just am kind of underwhelmed by, Sniper Elite.
yeah.
Oh man.
That's fine.
I want it to be
It's a really good
better.
game.
Maybe I need to try being the sniper.
It's so much fun.
Well, that's true. Bob won't let anyone else.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
Fine. Now that you guys have played a couple times, I'll just be the sniper.
No, I don't even want to play it anymore because
All
I
right,
think
cool.
it sucks.
I'll play with somebody else and be the sniper again.
Ruined.
Sorry, guys, I ruined your only
Yeah,
chance.
womp womp. Mike and I got to demo Septima.
Yes, I was going to mention
So
it.
cool.
Yeah, that's a big
Yes.
one.
Mind Clash games, like a light game. You're like trying to take place with the Septima. She's retiring, and you want to take over the Coven. And it's really cool because as you're walking around these areas, you're like, and you're doing your action selection with your cards. If different witches do the same action, you're drawing attention of the witch hunters. And so if they're in your area, they're going to start trying to come towards you. If they catch you, they're going to arrest your witches with your special abilities. And you have to try to send people to court to try to rescue them back, or they're going to get burned at the stake because that's what happens. And yeah, resource collection and trying to, get more power and influence in your coven. And the artwork is amazing. And there was a whole track we didn't even get to use because it was just a demo version. But it was so cool.
They gave us a simplified version.
Yeah.
And there's still some crunchy decisions to be made there. There's a couple things I really like that you hinted at. The action selection from the cards is really Concordia. The card stays out, and you can only use it once.
Correct.
It automatically resets at the end of the round, but you have a remember card, so you can replay one of your actions. And while you are arising suspicion by doing what other people are doing, you get a bonus
Enhanced
action.
version
So
of
you're
it.
encouraged to do what other people are doing.
Because you could talk about it, too. You can be like, hey, I'm going to gather the resource.
Yes.
Everyone else wants to gather because then we could both get the enhanced
So you
ability.
have to pay attention to what other people are doing. You want to do the same thing they are
Sometimes.
because you'll get that bonus.
Yeah.
But not if you're close to a witch hunter
Right.
and your suspicion
they will
is
come
too
get
high.
you.
There's a delicate balance there that's fascinating. And yeah, like you said, there's a whole track we never touched.
Yeah.
And it's like almost the size of the main board.
Yeah, it was a good
So
size
it's
track.
like, yeah, it looks amazing. I can't wait to get it. I know Bob and I both backed it.
Yeah.
And Jason,
Yep.
lots of eyes on this one.
Nice.
We Dan and I played with some people we did not know. It was only like a 4-player game, so I don't want to really judge everything on it there. But we did play Stranger Things.
Yeah, okay.
The Attack of the Mind Flayer. It's a Growl re-theme.
Yep.
Joey Vigor.
Yay!
We're gonna say it right.
That's the first time on the show.
I
I
know,
think.
I know. I did say it in the mini pod.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, Joey, I'm so sorry. I know you're not listening, but I'm so sorry.
He might be listening, but he definitely doesn't care that you
That's
said his
true.
name wrong. He's just like,
Yeah.
Just trying to make it fancy.
it's all
No.
cool, man.
Dude was, so the first time meeting him in like an official capacity, I met him years and years and years ago at a Gen Con to talk, like before I did anything even remotely media. It was like, oh, Chaosmos, I really like that game. Went up to him, said, hey. He gave me a promo card and was like, dude, love your game, blah, blah, blah. Growl came out, later in a Kickstarter and was like, oh, like this looks awesome. And then, yeah. But Joey's been really kind to us. He's sent us stuff, to review for the show, which I've always been happy to do. And, yeah, he spent a ton of time with us at Gen Con, talking to us on a couple different occasions. And just made you feel like a friend.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Joey's great. So anyways, we did play. So we played the Attack of the Mind Flayer. I would really like to play with a higher player count because I think, like Growl, it probably just sings and hums a lot better with a higher player count. We were also playing with 2 people that we had never met.
Yeah.
And so there was some interesting dynamic with some of the player interaction as far as, and sometimes that's a benefit. And this wasn't necessarily a negative, but there was.
Yeah, they were both fine.
Yeah, but there was some table talking, right? And I kind of enjoyed that because I think that is a nice icebreaker for like banter, right? When you're getting to know other people and stuff like that.
It's also fun that since Tim and I knew each other and the other 2 didn't know us or each other, it seemed like there was a lot of like, no, listen, guys, this is just how Tim acts. He's definitely evil right now, and just making stuff up.
Oh yeah.
It's fantastic.
I just got the tire tracks off my back, getting thrown under that bus. By Daniel. And then I picked up Tinder Blocks from Alley Cat Games. It's a tiny little campfire in a box, and you're basically, it's kind of like Rhino Hero with cubes and long blocks. And
this big.
Yeah. So you got this card, and you flip over a card, and it's going to tell you to put a log on the fire, but maybe it has to be standing like this, and maybe you have to do it with your offhand.
Tweezers
Oh, it's always tweezers.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
And
Shoot.
It's not just always,
Tiny
but I didn't say
tweezers.
shoot.
It's not just always
Baby
tweezers.
tweezers.
They're tiny tweezers, and they're clearly weirdly shaped,
Yeah.
so that
Oh, yeah.
you can't like do what you think you should be able to
they're
do.
a little awkward. And so you're
I
just
got a hold of this. Whoop.
yeah. So it's just this little stacking game, and you go around until everybody's eliminated. So like if you go to put something on and you knock it off, anything that falls off just goes back into the box, and then that person's out, and then it just goes to the next player. You flip that card over, and again, it could have a red block, a yellow block on top of a log, and then you've got to place that somewhere.
And you have to, have those put together when you pick it up.
Yeah, so you've got to
you're-
put it
you're
together.
moving all 3.
Then you've
Oh,
got to
geez.
stack
Yeah.
it. You can't just go dink, dink,
Right.
dink. No, you got to be dink, dink,
Ding,
Ding,
ding.
ding.
Ding, ding. Ding,
You
ding,
picked it
ding,
up.
ding, ding.
You picked it up. Anyways, but Tinder Blocks, I played Tinder Blocks a lot since Gen. I mean, because it takes 30 seconds.
Sure.
you know.
Right.
Uh,
Especially when Tim plays. Hey-o!
Boom! I'm out.
Are you gonna get some real tweezers and deluxify your copy?
Right.
No, we gotta have the Jack tweezers.
We're going to play with real wood,
Yeah.
What I'm
real
gonna do-
fire.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Bob's
Good.
Sniper Elite, set it on fire with a fan, and
Jeez.
blow the smoke into your eyes
Wow.
while you're trying to place.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a thematic experience
See?
right
I
there.
guess. Speaking of thematic, we played Mission Control.
Mission Control. We should save some of this for maybe favorite moments of Gen Con.
But it was
yeah.
a fun like 4-player roll and write. Everybody's doing asymmetrical stuff. We'll save a little bit.
Life
of that
size.
today.
Yeah.
It was life
It was-
size. It was a full
We were playing the like Uber Deluxe, specifically
We
Gen
were-
Con created.
I was only
experience.
missing the
easels.
actual helmet, you
Yeah.
know, to go over
Well,
my
the
head.
company even said they had so many requests that when the game releases, they might make it like they might release the PDF so that you can go to like a
Somewhere
place
and make large
make
copies.
the giant copies
That would
to
be
print off and
fantastic.
laminate.
They should.
If they don't, somebody else will on BGR.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair enough. Go for it.
I got to play Mosaic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Man, it was a full playthrough.
Yeah.
I haven't
had
talked
so
to you
much
about this
fun.
experience
Play
I
it
yet.
with
know.
Glenn Drover.
Because I actually
No.
I actually
know.
took
friend of the show.
Yeah. friend of the
Spencer
show.
and I took Bob to Mosaic, and we were like, "Okay, Bob, you sit down, you have fun with
Yeah.
your friends, and we have to run
Well,
and
we
do
stood
work
there. We were all like
now."
hovering because we thought more of us might be able to get in, and then it was like, well, it's only going to have one spot, and I was like,
Yeah, it was clearly you. I wasn't
Yeah.
even like dying to play it really. Like if there was an open spot, I would have.
Sure.
But I knew it was going to take a long time, and I was like, I can get
Yes.
3 other videos done while you're playing this.
Yes.
you know,
man,
so.
I'm so glad I sat down and played through it though. It was like we only had a teacher for like 20 minutes. That's all we really needed though. We
Yeah.
were able to figure out the rest of it by ourselves.
So
Fantastic.
when I was talking to friend of the show, Glenn Drover,
Friend of the show.
he talked about how easy it was to teach
Yes.
and how fast it is to play while
Yep.
still being a satisfying. And
Yeah.
now, of course, he's selling his own
Sure.
thing, but
It
he
sells
has some games that I
itself.
absolutely love,
Right.
Yes.
and so I believe him.
Yeah,
I know
for sure.
your only issue, Bob, when we talked after the playthrough was we might have even interviewed for this, but I don't remember.
A little bit.
But you said that you were worried that with the not painted version of the game, the pieces look a little similar, like the little
Yes.
cities.
Yeah.
and
So
stuff.
there's times where you can build like a ports on port cities or a normal city, or you can also add like I don't know, get the terminology wrong, but they're like towns. So it's basically expansions to your city. So they're not
Okay.
standalones; they have to be
Sure.
built adjacent. And the miniatures are so similar. Yeah, so it's going to be very difficult to kind of tell them apart sometimes.
Yeah, we
So
just
a little
slap
bit of
a little bit of paint on there.
Yeah, I think as long as you do like a little bit of a wash and kind of make some of the details pop, you'll be like, okay, I can see the rows of corn in there. Because when you look close enough, yes, you can tell. But like at first glance, you're digging through this literal bin of pieces that you've got, and yeah, it was kind of hard to tell. So it's like pull them out, lay them out. You can see which ones are which. And make sure you.
I
grab
assume
the
there's
correct
way more
ones.
add-ons than main cities. I don't know what the terms are.
Yes, I think so. Because there's like the villages, and then there's the ports, and those are both like cities, and
Right.
then there's like markets that you can add on, and there's
Okay.
like farming markets and textile markets and things like that.
I was just wondering because
And those are
the first thing
similar.
that came to my head is like painting the tips of all the cities.
Okay,
the
well,
tips
the
of the
city
main
ones are easy because they have walls.
I'm
So
talking about
they're-
the main one that isn't the add-on. Oh, you're saying all the add-ons look the same.
Correct.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes, and like the port, because the port cities for some reason don't have walls. I guess because they're on ports. You
Checks out.
could have some wall
Yeah.
there, right? But the normal main cities do have the walls, and they're easier to tell apart. But all of the add-ons then yes,
Okay.
become tricky. The textiles and the farming one look extremely similar.
Okay.
But that was my biggest complaint. But yeah, the turns are so fast because there's times where like you're buying stuff. There's like 3 or 4 different decks that you're like taking cards from, and then as you're going through those decks, in the bottom like section of them are like the end game types of ones. And once you've either like emptied out two piles of tiles, or once you've gotten 3 of those cards out of the 4 decks, then the game that's what triggers end game. And so you're like constantly buying stuff, and like sometimes it turns like, okay, well, I'm gonna produce. Boom, you're done. Next turn, produce. And
Right.
everything's just so simple. Like turns are quick, and that's really nice when you're playing a Civ type game like that.
For
But,
sure.
man, it was super enjoyable. Cannot wait for my Kickstarter to show up and play it again.
Oh, I canceled it.
Also, we got to play probably what is in the running for my favorite game of the year so far, Twilight Inscription. Got to play that a few times now. It's fantastic.
It's very good.
It's so good. I ran a completely different strategy, had just as much fun. Actually won.
Didn't count.
But
I don't know if winning is the right word. Demolishing,
Yeah.
I think, might be the right word.
Well,
I heard
yeah,
you picked a strat that was the good one.
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
So far,
That
it
seems
seems
to be
to
the
be the
winning way.
winning strat, and I'm worried. But it could just be fluke.
Right,
Yeah.
and it could have played into asymmetrical abilities. That's something I was wondering. too.
100% always.
Well,
yep.
and so I had a they're basically our concern right now is that the industry board might be rushing the industry board might be the way to win the game.
Right.
I had a sieve that basically whenever I gained a vote asset, it allowed me to mark off 3 things. Like basically. So it's like circle, circle, circle.
So it might just be that sieve that makes that.
So I was like claim, and then it would be like, oh, I claimed another vote. You know what I mean? And could just
and they
bang.
didn't even need to be next to scrapped stuff.
No, they did,
Oh,
but
okay.
I had already
Right.
because
Done
I
a bunch
raced
of X-
because
yeah.
I raced a bunch of X stuff.
That's what I did
because
early
yeah,
too. I
because-
made just like a line of X's, so I was like, now I'll come back to you when I need you.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is I knew like I'm gonna have the opportunity to
do a
circle a
bunch
bunch
of
of
circles.
stuff.
You gotta have space
So
to do
build
it.
it all up,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And so it worked. I had every single commodity on the bottom of my industry board maxed out.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
had-
That's what I'm saying.
I
So
had
those go
more-
ones,
Yeah.
threes,
I had more
fours,
points on that
fives.
board than 3 of the players had like for their final
Combined.
score.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean,
He
it was-
doubled my score.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
So I mean,
barely touched the industry board.
And the asymmetric, or not asymmetric, the I don't know what they're called, goals. I don't know what those things are called.
Yeah.
The achievements or whatever.
Achievements, yeah.
The highest point one was like 9 points, and it was have 10.
Yeah, but
circle
I didn't
things
even get
in a-
that one
Oh,
for
you
the-
didn't even get that one.
I
That's
mean,
hilarious.
You got
I don't
the
know.
secondary of
Yeah,
it,
I might have got
okay.
the secondary one because I was just so busy like
doing other things.
yeah.
I was gonna say like everything just like honed in on industry that game, and it was just like dun dun dun. right.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't know. With the both plays, it just seems like industry is a winner. But I don't know.
But we'll see.
see.
I think seeing other people's strategies and the way they were playing, it was really interesting to play with like a different group of people. We played again. We taught, so 6 of us played on Friday, and it was under 2 hours that we were teaching 3 new people. And there was, once we went through the initial rules, it was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Like everybody really kind of understood. Like, there were questions like, okay, so if I do this, no, make sure you pay attention to this and don't
Right.
forget to do this. And I don't feel like, other than maybe Jesse going, oh, I would have done some things differently now.
Kind of. I think most of that was in jest, I think.
Well, and also I think that you could say that about any game like that,
Sure.
where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I should have done this,
Right.
this, this.
He
this.
First
literally,
time through, you make
his
mistakes.
first turn, he spent the 3 resources, right? The 3 dice rolls, and the ones on the card, so maybe 5 resources, whatever, right? And he like marks them. He goes, okay, so far I've probably made 5 mistakes this game. Like that was the first thing he said, right? So
I'm like, don't worry, me too. But anyways, I just am really impressed with the ease of teach, the quickness of play, because even though it took almost 2 hours, there's no downtime.
Right.
And I don't, and nobody playing, I felt like had excessive AP. I mean, it was literally like, okay, everybody spend. And by the time I had figured out, and I might have even been taking longer, by the time I figured out what sheet I wanted to activate, more or less everybody was ready for me to roll the dice.
Right.
And I was just like, I'm playing this and I'm like, this is so fast, and it's so involved, and like everybody is got different things going on, you know what I mean, and playing through, and it's like, how'd you get that? And it's like, oh, well, my race ability lets me do that, you know what I mean? And it's just like bang, bang, bang. Just love it so far. I think that it's a very valid concern to say that maybe industry, but we'll see, because I'm thinking, because I was gonna try to do like a warfare heavy thing, and none of the cards in my hand were
Played
gonna
into that.
Yeah, we're gonna play into that. So I was like, I'll just try this. I'll try industry.
Yeah.
And then, and I kind of ignored my
top one.
exploration board and the warfare board, and I focused on 2 boards. So last time I played, I was trying to balance between all 4. I focused on 2 boards and just cleaned house.
Yep.
All of my points came from these, and barely any points came from these. Actually, 0 points, exactly 0. I'd done
From
enough
warfare,
warfare
yeah.
Wow.
to negate
Break
my
even.
negative
Yeah.
points, to break completely even, true 0 on this board. So almost all my points came
Wow.
from
That's
navigation
crazy.
and
yeah,
industry.
it was a great game.
Yeah, and my power too was very military focused, and the last battle card came out much earlier than it did earlier.
It came out 2 cards early.
I had 4 ships just ready to deploy. I'm just salivating for me to activate the war board again, and then I'm like, Oh no!
Yeah,
That's like
with-
8 points down the drain right there because of the timing of when that
I
came
lost
out.
6 because I needed one
that hurt
more
a lot.
turn.
So that whole one board might be overpowered. We've only played it twice.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to get
That's
too
what the word
carried
might
away,
means.
but it's worth noting.
Yeah. No, but I think it's really cool. Really enjoyed it. I've been teaching Justin at work. I taught him Shards of Infinity.
Nice.
And now,
I also played that.
Now, like every day, he asks me if I brought it. Like, "Oh, did you
Nice.
bring Shards of Infinity?
I played
Amazing
with
game.
Jesse. Really good game.
Yeah, Shards is awesome. I need to get the expansions for it. I only have.
Hey,
it
I
this
have one. I don't have the base game
year. Why do you have an expansion? Did
because
you-
I bought the expansion because it was here and the base game wasn't. And I was
Oh.
like, I'll get the base game
So
later.
you're the reason why?
Never
Because
did.
when I come back to the store to buy the
yeah.
dang expansion, it's off. It's gone. I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
Who bought that?
I was
And-
planning on getting the base game. It just
Eventually.
hasn't happened yet.
You want to sell your copy of the base game?
No, I wanted to buy his copy of the expansion.
Well.
I got Foundations of Rome played again.
Nice.
It's game.
It's a really good game.
Really
I
good game.
got to
Far better
actually-
than similar games that need not be named.
I was pretty proud of myself. Bob only beat me by 4 points in that game.
Oh.
Yeah. See?
That was very close.
When did
I
you guys-
actually
when did you guys
thought
play
I
it?
had a
Did Bob
shot.
fall asleep
I don't
halfway
rem-
through?
I don't
What
remember
happened?
when
it was some
was.
Friday.
oh,
Yeah.
When people weren't invited.
yeah.
Mhm.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Also, I taught Justin Dead Man's Draw.
Nice. Good game.
I think it was a Thursday night actually. Anyways,
And yeah, he's like, what? Like by the end of us playing that, he's like, I need to buy this.
Well, yeah. Well, you probably
I was
played
like-
without all the crazy stuff too, didn't you?
We didn't even use the
That's
traits
what I'm
and the
saying.
stuff.
Yeah, like that. Play with that next time, Justin. You'll see how
Oh well, I
crazy
showed.
the
Well,
game
so he
changes.
was like, "Oh, I really like this," and I go, "Yeah," and we didn't even use this
or this,
or this,
or
and he
this.
goes, "Oh, I've got to buy this." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Go to Mayday Games,
Fantastic
Go
game.
to their website. You can buy it there now."
That's
We did play the-
Underrated, you could say.
It is a very
could say that.
underrated game. If you wanted to say
Yeah,
that.
if you wanted to.
we played Doodle Dash a few times.
Yep.
We're gonna do a review of that
So
soon.
fun.
I love Doodle Dash.
It's
a good time.
ridiculous.
It is so ridiculous. And then also, I taught Justin how to play the game. I know
Oh.
you guys hate the
Which
game.
one?
I don't hate
The
it.
game.
It's just a little bland to me, but I don't hate
We got
it.
down
It's
to
a lot
5
bland.
cards. 5 cards. That's pretty good. The goal is if you
How
can get
much
under
cheating?
10. 0 cheating. Actually, 0 table talk.
Yeah.
Like I just said, like the most table talk would be like, if you play a card on one of those piles, that's gonna wreck my whole hand.
Nice.
And then it's like, and then he's like, I don't know what to do.
That's the point, Justin.
And then you're just like, I'm like, just don't even look at me. Just play your
or
card.
should I
Just-
say, that's the game.
Just play your card wherever. And, you know, so it was fun because we were doing it. And then you just see, like, the gears turning and he's sweating. Like, ugh, I don't want to blow this. And I'm like, don't blow it. So, anyways, we had a good time playing
I
the
still
game.
need to play that one. I've only played
Need is a
a
strong word.
buttload of its overhyped cousin, The Mind.
Yeah, I don't like the mind.
Yeah.
The game is more fun because there's actually more strategies to the game.
Cool.
Couple fast ones. I got my butt beat the worst I've ever had in Dune Imperium.
Wow.
Who
good.
was it?
Jesse and I played, and it was only 2 players, so we had to play with the bot, which I just hate anyway because I'll tell you the amount of times it took exactly where I needed to go. It's just so aggravating.
I don't mind it
but
two-player.
12-4. Yeah.
It's a butt whooping.
No, I was like, how did you do this? You know, like it was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I even had like a good deck. I felt I fell apart.
I'm surprised you showed up today.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. That's all I have until game night at Spencer's, where 3 things really quick. So I play Cat in the
gosh.
Box again.
Nice. Did you like it
No.
better? No.
I did way better than
Okay.
than I did the first time, but still I don't like it.
don't like trick
We played Bang, like actual Bang, not the
Ooh.
dice game.
Okay.
Everyone seemed to have a really good time with
Bang,
that.
this is a good game.
Well, a lot of people were learning it, for the first time or hadn't played it since it was released and stuff, and everyone seemed to have a really good time with that. And then we played New Frontiers. And man, it was a really good game. Like Jesse won, like
He was a lot.
barely. No, Spencer won.
Wow.
And then me, and then Jesse. But it was really close, I think, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it was a really good close game.
That's another underrated game. It's like 800 something. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's, what's it called? Race Through the Galaxy, the board game. And it is, I think, better in every way. I think it's really good. If you were turned off, like, Jonathan hates Race for the Galaxy. He played New Frontiers. He was like, that was really good. I want to play that again. Like, I think it fixes a lot of the clunkiness that people have problems with.
I mean, the only
for
problem with
Race.
that statement is that Race for the Galaxy is a board game.
It's you know what I'm saying though.
I do.
Like it falls under the category board game,
Versus
but
card
it's
game or
clearly
dice
card game. Yeah,
Yeah.
but anyway, then just 2 more things because you mentioned Twilight Imperium. So Dice Throne, We played Dice Throne.
We did.
We did 3-player King of the Hill, which is exactly what we did at Gen Con, so we
Yeah.
haven't tried anything else out yet.
Right, and but you played a full version and not like the half.
Correct.
rushed
We played the
Gen
whole.
Con, the hall's
no,
closing
we
in
actually
15-minute
didn't play
version.
full technically because he didn't want the game to go too long. So you're supposed to do 50 health, and we did like 35.
Oh.
no, it said in King of the Hill 35.
Oh, okay. I thought you made that up when you changed
no.
it.
I literally guessed 35 and then read the book and it said health at 35.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
That's
I'm a
funny.
genius.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure actually you said 30, and I was like, I don't know, maybe like something, and then we
here
changed
we
it.
go.
But anyway, I played. Already forgot.
Who-
Dice Throne.
No, Jonathan was Loki.
Yes.
You were Scarlet.
You were Doctor
not Scarlet
Strange.
Woman.
I was
I was
Scarlet
Doctor Strange.
Because
You
that was
were-
right
no,
before
you
I
were,
left.
You were not. You were
Mike-
Black Widow.
Mike opened the
Correct,
box, and you're like, Doctor Strange.
Yes, and then you left.
He's
yes.
got a fun
And I was like, I
play
gotta get out of
style.
here.
Doctor Strange was an insanely fun. It is hard to get started though. I don't feel and that's randomly shuffle of the deck, right?
You didn't
But,
have a lot of spells at the top of your deck, and that
exactly.
makes him tricky to start.
Yeah,
Is
but
it tricky to rock a rhyme?
Yes,
That's right on time?
it is.
It is.
Very.
Anyway,
Tricky.
but it was a really close game. But honestly, if you play King of the Hill, it's always going to be a really close game. So. But a really close game. Black Widow might have a bit of an overpowered mechanic, but we'll see.
But
well,
she lost.
she's extremely defensive.
Well, she only lost because she pulled the wrong Loki card like a moron.
Oh, God.
Like a moron.
Apparently, I just let Jonathan
Win every
just
game.
run
Really?
away with me mentally on Friday.
Yeah.
I'm still recovering.
He's living in your head.
Rent free.
Rent
I
free.
know. I'm gonna raise that rent.
We did play a couple rounds of Blood on the Clock Tower
Right.
on
Okay.
Friday.
We need to review it. We have access to a full copy now.
I know. I'm
It
hoping we get
is
one in the store because I really want to
fantastic.
grab it.
It's if you like social deduction, it's one of the
If
greatest.
you like social
greatest,
deduction,
and you like
And
getting
getting
called out
messed
by an imp,
Up by John.
I was gonna say Killed the Rain, but
I was gonna say,
sure.
yeah.
it's amazing.
Jesse did a great job running it.
He did.
I mean, all 3 times that he's ran it, he's done a really good job. He's provided a very good experience. Daniel's the only other person I played with that has run it, and we played via Discord.
Oh, was sure. Mike ran it a couple times.
Oh, did you? Did we
Maybe
play
he
with
wasn't
you?
there.
I don't know.
Forgettable
For the
experiences,
roll for the
apparently.
for
Yeah,
his
not
printed version
memorable
at his
at
house.
all.
Oh, I don't know. Did
Maybe you weren't there.
We
know.
also
We
did
played a
it
couple
here at
times.
Fantasy
Yes.
during a
Oh,
Meeple
that's
event.
true.
We did. You
We
did.
were
did
there
a
for that.
teams eval.
was I there for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I made you the
That's
mayor.
how good it was.
You were a forgettable
And Jeff
host.
was in the game.
Oh,
You remember
and
that?
somebody was the spy.
I remember that, and I
and
wasn't
they-
even playing.
I didn't write a very good script.
That's
Let's put
okay.
it that way.
no. Anyways,
It was still fun.
Jesse did a great job. We were playing with the official for the
Scripts.
first time copy, right? And for me, anyways.
Amazing.
And yeah, it was crazy. I was an evil twin. Jonathan was the good twin, and I just had Jonathan all flustered, and it was hilarious.
It blew my mind when you guys didn't come out with that publicly immediately. Well, I mean, I know that it's like you guys don't watch the meta video, so you guys do whatever you want.
I did
but
pretty quick.
No, I know, but I'm saying like usually like you see people day starts and he goes, okay, guys, we got a twin prom before people even break up, right? But it was just funny how it turned out because everyone woke up, blah blah blah. I went to talk to Jonathan first. He called me over, and I went and I was like, okay, so I'll give you some information. I'm this or this and stuff. And he was like, okay, well. So I'm a good twin and Tiz my evil twin. I went, what?
So I knew. So I was watching Jonathan from across the room, and the second that I could tell that he outed himself as the twin, I forget who I was talking to, but it's like, okay, so I'm the good twin, Jonathan's the evil twin. I'm the Slayer, because I was gonna play it cool for a minute. I was just gonna watch and see what he did, and I'm like, well, it's on now, baby.
But
right?
Tim sees me in the corner going,
Oh, wait, and then Mike's going. But anyways, it was super fun. It was a really good time. And then Jonathan was the imp on the second game we played, or the demon, whatever term you want to use, and totally psyched Mike out. And Mike tried to be subtle,
No.
but let me point out a fatal flaw. So Mike is sitting next to Daniel, right? We are trying to get Jonathan executed. Okay.
Makes sense.
They're sitting right next to each other. Okay, similar to where they are right now, except. You know,
opposite, sure.
Yeah, but doesn't matter for a point of this story.
And
Hold on.
sure.
So Dan's sitting like this, right? Because we're all kind of on the edge of our seats. And Jonathan was right next to me. And I'm like, we need to kill Jonathan. And Mike goes, well, I don't have anything else to say. leans back, and we're like, well, Mike is clearly the bad guy because we thought he killed himself.
Well, that was the other theory, was Mike might be the bad guy.
But what Mike did when he leaned back was he went like this and pointed to Jonathan behind Dan's back, which Dan cannot see.
It was.
So I
don't
go,
have
okay,
anything
well,
to
obviously he's
say.
evil.
I already know who I want to nominate, and as I'm saying that, it was. I don't have anything else to say. Everybody's screaming over me, saying I already know who I want to nominate. So
You were evil.
I wasn't.
Right.
I
He wasn't.
lost.
But you acted like it.
It was so good. It
With
was
your
ton of fun.
secret
Stop
spy
reminding
point.
me.
Well, this is
But that's
why
the s-
this is why Blood on the Clock Tower is better than Werewolf, right? This is why, because of all these dynamics. Because Blood on the Clock Tower does not reward just going, well, Bob's always evil, let's kill Bob.
Right.
It does not reward
Which
that.
happens all the time.
Right. Well, same, right?
Yeah.
Like Tim's evil. Tim plays Werewolf a lot.
Sure. I mean, Blood on the Clock
Tim.
Tower again. So we start Blood on the Clock Tower, and I will always say, okay, how do I get Tim killed? But then I talk to Tim, and Tim says something like, and I'm like, crap, that's really important. I can't kill
Well,
Tim.
there was a bunch of times where it's like, look, I really want to kill Dan, but I cannot.
Yeah.
Because I think to win the game.
There was even one time where Tim got everyone to like vote for me, and then Tim didn't vote, and he was like, well, I don't think we should kill Dan. I just wanted everyone to
I just wanted to nominate somebody.
Just testing my influence.
Yeah, I love the tension of not wanting to divulge too much information.
Yeah.
It is truly what
Well,
makes that game incredible
And
to me.
again, Wyatt is superior, right, to
To any social
Werewolf
deduction game, in my
because
opinion.
because the information is so important
Yeah.
and how you disseminate that.
I mean, once I have my role, like I am just staring at the sheet, I'm already figuring out my bluff just right away. It is just so good.
Well, that night I was like, my bluff is just going to be whatever the other person told me.
Right.
It's like, oh, that's funny you claim those because I'm going to claim those too.
Hey, kudos to Caleb.
But I was one of the things that they claimed, so it worked out.
Kudos to Caleb.
No,
'cause I
Caleb
had,
played like garbage, and
Oh,
everybody bought into his
genius.
shtick. I saw right through it.
He was genius.
No, he was terrible.
Genius.
He was terrible.
It
He tried like
worked.
3 different things, and Dan's like, this is chaos. I'm like, well, he's lying.
Well, yeah.
Clearly. So once you know he's lying, all the chaos doesn't matter. You just cut right
Right,
through
but
it.
the question
Jonathan
wasn't
evil.
if he was lying. The question was he the demon
It's
or
a
the
facto.
minion?
Oh,
So it
sure.
didn't matter that he was
Well,
lying.
but I knew he was the Baron.
You
and
didn't
not the,
know that.
I
'cause-
did because you weren't the Baron.
Right, but you could be poisoned. Yeah. And like we
no,
were trying to figure
no,
that out.
because I knew there wasn't a poisoner.
But
because
you
I knew
didn't
there was a
because
Baron.
if you were poisoned, he would tell you Baron, right? Like to make you confused. That's the whole point of the storyteller. So I'm just saying.
Listen, what happened though at the end of the day, Caleb
Correct.
was the Baron.
Correct.
I mean, this was just a 5-player Teensville
Yeah.
game. This is just 2 games, and we could literally sit here for hours just talking about
Yeah,
those 2
yeah,
games.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
such
Yeah.
memorable experiences every time you play.
What
Blood on the
Daniel
Clock
just
Tower.
said was not wrong, but I also knew I was right.
You say that when you're wrong though.
True.
but if you say it both times, you'll eventually be
You're
right.
always going to be right. Half the
Never
time.
drop the con.
That's true.
I'm out of games. So
I
what are we
got
gonna do
one
for the next
more.
hour?
Well,
I have
let's
one
do
more game.
Okay, one more game real quick.
Last night I taught 5 people who don't typically play a lot of board games Planet Unknown.
Yeah.
And it was a hit. It took a little bit to get everybody like kind of into it and what was going on and how to move their boards. But then 3-4 turns into it, everybody was grasping what
So I
was going on.
assume symmetric.
Yeah, we played all symmetrical boards. That way it was easy for me to reference what they had also and break it down for them. But they want to play asymmetric next time. 'Cause, once they flip the boards, they're like, whoa. They're like, I know, right?
I know. Yeah, well, that's the thing is if you hand out the player boards for that game and you have them on the symmetric side, and then you play the whole game, you don't say anything, and you go, okay, guys, now everyone flip your boards over.
Yeah. But no, it was a big hit. And as I say, I taught all those people, and we played in like an hour and 15 minutes.
awesome.
And they were like, that was over fast. And because everybody's taking a turn at the same time.
And
there's
next
not a lot
time you
of
play that, it's
downtime.
going to be 45
Even
minutes to
less.
an hour,
Yep.
and you could even do it on the asymmetric side, right?
Yep.
And now they already know how to play.
Yeah.
Fantastic
Yeah, it was a fantastic game.
It's a
Plays
very
quick,
solid game.
easy
I
to
wish
learn.
I could have picked it up.
Yep.
Very solid game.
All right.
I maybe should have bought one, but I got Julia one, so
Yeah.
I paid for
All right.
our. That was our rental for
There's
the
2 in the
Yeah.
group now.
2 in the
there you
group,
go.
so we're good for a
2
bit.
in
Covered.
the group. All right,
Well,
guys, let's go to
3.
news.
News.
All right, guys, news. Obviously, a lot of big news broke at Gen Con.
Sure.
So the really, really, really big announcement, Avalon Hill announced that they're bringing back HeroScape.
HeroScape's coming back. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I have tempered my excitement for it though, because Avalon Hill is owned by Hasbro. Hasbro did the Hero Quest reprint.
Oh, right. That was them. So Pulse and all that.
Pulse. So there's a very good. Now they've announced nothing
Right.
other than that they're bringing it back. They're calling it Age of Annihilation, and it is speculated that it could show up on Pulse as like that pre-order thing, which is fine. It wasn't like, oh, there's this big
Right.
disaster or anything that happened. I just felt like Hero Quest was really pricey for what it is.
Right.
Uh,
And HeroScape is a
Is
lot.
more.
It's going to be really pricey.
is more, and they don't know yet if they're going to. Well, they have not announced yet, so the public does not know yet if they're going to be the pre-painted minis,
Right.
like before, if they're going to come gray, and just let you paint them, so on and so forth. But anyways, so fans of HeroScape, I guess rejoice if that's something you're super excited about, because you will have access to that without going through yard sales or overpaying on the secondary market.
They
You
should
can now,
have.
but you can now overpay Hasbro.
Yes, they should come out with painted versions because people are just going to dump money on
They
that.
they
game.
should.
Well, especially HeroScape fans.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they
Yeah,
do.
They should.
have some painted.
But I guess you could also do a cheaper version unpainted and then let people
Sure,
paint their own.
sure.
But I mean, HeroScape originally, I mean, that was a game you'd just find in big box stores. You'd go to
Right.
Target and Wally
Yeah.
World and you'd
There
see
it
it
was. Yeah.
there. So it makes sense that you don't make people paint that when they're just like entry level gamers. They're
Sure.
not as deep into it, or civilians, if you
Oh,
prefer.
God, I was hoping that was not going to come up.
Bam! Listen, entry level gamers, nothing wrong with that. Whatever it takes to get you in the hobby, man. Whatever it takes. Once you're in the hobby, you're gonna just start digging deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're gonna
Yep.
find all kinds of
Stuff you
crazy,
like
fun
and-
stuff you like and love.
Welcome to the club.
Did you just open a gate?
No,
I
but did you
tried.
see how his arms were moving, though?
Oh.
I'm just saying it wasn't that far.
Let's play
That's funny.
Squid Game.
No.
So the rest of my news will be Asmodee related.
Okay.
Does anybody have stuff that's not Asmodee related?
I have
They
a-
own
I have a
everything,
smidge.
so it's possible, but
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think these guys are
My-
owned by them yet.
My big
Okay.
thing was HeroScape, and then I saw that there's like a Stargate board game being worked on right now, and I thought
Yeah.
people would like that, but I haven't been able to find it again since I saw it. Because
Yeah,
like,
there's just like one image has been
Okay.
released, and
Okay.
that's it, as far as I know. But yes, there's something Stargate coming out board game related.
yeah, I think there was an
which-
RPG announced, but I thought there was also a board game.
No, there's a board
but-
game also
yeah,
coming.
okay.
Yeah. That it might be like Free League is doing. I feel like Free League is doing all
Right.
the RPGs, like with
Right.
any kind
they
of IP.
definitely were like,
Which, having played Alien, that's the only one of theirs that I played.
Right.
But Justin plays the One Ring, and he
Okay.
loves that one. And I thought Alien was great.
it was really good.
Like, really provides that experience and that theme, like, really well. So, anyways, Bobby, please.
So yeah, Grand Gamers Guild, our friends over there, make some games that we really enjoy. Endeavor Age of Sail. The team that worked on that is we're going to be releasing Endeavor Deep Sea.
Nice.
Yeah, so
so
it's
is
going to
this
be
a sequel?
yeah, so it's coming to GameFound January.
Sequel?
Wow, I see what you did there. No, it's coming to GameFound in
That was
January.
deep.
And it's the same team that worked on Age of Sail, and the Deep Sea is set in a new era of aquatic discovery, and it's going to be streamlined rules and a more modern theme.
Okay, so you're gonna be like James Cameron down in like a one-man.
Yeah,
sub.
yeah. This is
Yeah.
actually really interesting.
Yeah, because like I really enjoyed the Age of Sail.
Yeah.
It's
I
done
think
really
that's the one I
well.
played with you, and I
Yes,
thought it was cool.
yeah, it's got like the big player board, you move everything up.
Yeah.
Yes, with the dual layers.
What?
Yeah.
Grand
I
Gamers
like
Guild,
it.
man, they
They've
make
got
some good games,
They got
man.
some really good games out
So
there.
is that gonna come to like
GameFound.
crowdfunding?
GameFound.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
GameFound in January. So
Cool,
when that
cool,
comes
cool.
to that, I will have my ear to the ground on that and let you know when it launches. But
Yes.
yes. Keep an eye out. Save up your ducats. It's coming.
Yeah.
I'll let him know when he can take his ear off the ground.
Yeah, what?
Yep.
I can't hear you. My ears on the ground.
Use the other one.
Oh.
Zing!
Yeah.
Mike, did you have something?
I have some stuff here. So I have some stuff regarding a game. I don't know actually if anybody knows this game or has played it. It's a zoo themed game. It's called Ark Nova.
Yeah.
Oh, what's
Oh, I've
is
heard
that
that.
like
well,
where you're-
well, you haven't played
It's
it.
like
Where
in
you're building a
space,
zoo
right?
in
Yeah, zoo in
space.
space.
I'm the one that actually wanted to talk about this. You guys can talk about what it's going to add to the game, but here's the description. Ark Nova Aquarius. An expansion for Ark Nova
See, it is
introduces
space themed. You're going into the
multiple new
constellation.
elements to the game, such as sea animals that each have to be played in new special enclosures that must be built adjacent to water.
Uh-huh.
Roughly half the The sea animals are reef dwellers, and whenever you add a reef dweller to your zoo, you trigger the ability of all reef dwellers in your zoo to deal with the dilution of the deck naturally caused by adding more cards. All the sea cards feature a wave icon, and whenever it is revealed in the display, you discard the first card in the row, then replenish. Then you also have a 4th university. The breed registry is available on the association board, and if you take it, you claim one of the 6 special universities from the reserve. This was available at Gen Con.
Yeah, I meant to try to go buy this, and then I just kept
None of
getting
us did.
distracted.
But yeah.
We were really busy at Gen Con.
And I haven't played Ark Nova yet.
Ark Nova's really
too.
good. It has not burned down your whole collection. You know, you don't need
Already
anything else.
did.
Sure.
Oh.
So it's no Munchkin.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Mike.
Yeah.
Okay,
Say
well.
Munchkin. No, Ark Nova's really good. This does sound like it adds a very nice module, like an interesting thing that you can integrate into the game very easily from what it sounds like. Because really, honestly, Mike, when you were talking about everything right there, it's like, okay, so I see how that would play.
Yeah.
Like, and I played
It's kind
Ark
of like
Nova.
stuff you do almost already.
Yeah. It's
it's
just
just a
giving you
different-
just another option.
See, to
Options
me, it
are
was
good.
like Portuguese.
Yeah.
That's
That's Carnival.
So you understand.
Oh, sorry.
yeah.
But yeah.
Easy to confuse.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, no, I that sounds really neat. I really look forward to playing it. I don't know that it would be like the I must have this expansion to make this game like this fixes the game, but it does sound like an expansion that integrates very well into the base game. And once you start playing with it, it would
Right,
just
one of those things,
always
just
be
leave it in.
there,
Yeah.
and you just leave it in.
Does the game need fix?
No,
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I didn't
Really
feel like
good.
anything that we
Just
played was
checking.
like, man, that really needs tweaked.
Nope.
Yeah, it felt pretty solid.
Another announcement is Zoo Vedas. This is a Reiner Knizia game, and this will be a re-implementation of Quo Vedas. This game is from 1998, and this is like a politicking, voting type game, which I love
I'm
stuff like
listening.
this. This is anthropomorphic animals.
Oh,
Dan's out.
What if the animals were the ones who ran the zoo? Presumably, this walled government would be built upon the
took the
support
headset
of
off
fellow
and everything.
creatures and fueled by the fame, attention, and prestige of wide-eyed visitors. Naturally, the most aspirational beast would lobby for a position in the star exhibit, and the lead star would be elected zoo mascot.
Okay, hold on. Let me speak for Dan real quick.
You got me with politicking and a Knizia game. It's coming out next year.
Well, Mike, I think this game sounds really cool. See, I knew Dan would like it.
We're getting rid
And
of our
I'm
lips
back
too.
in.
Perfect impression.
Yeah.
I had a real good time.
I'm just interested.
No, I think it sounds cool, man. I'm in. But,
Yeah.
you know, we like Raccoon Tycoon. We don't. I'm
mean-
down with the anthropomorphic animals. I
Yeah,
think they're
probably one of
fun.
my least favorite Drover games, but
I will stab you in the
Um,
face.
that's fine.
Another one I saw.
But that's okay because he's a friend of the show.
It's fine.
Friend
yeah.
of the show.
Hey, you know, something's got to be on the bottom.
Right.
Right. He makes a bunch of games. They're ranked. There's a bunch of really good ones, and one of them has to be at the bottom, and it happens to be that one.
Well, for the record, I probably like Raccoon Tycoon better than any of these guys. I am a big fan of that game. I love auction games.
Yep.
I
And
enjoy-
simplifying
I-
everything it does into the package that.
I really like it, and my family loves it, so I can play with my
Sure.
in-laws.
Yeah, yeah.
And Kelly will
played
play
with
it.
Kelly and
So
Kelly.
it's
Play
like,
that
yeah,
with
I'm in.
anybody.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Man.
I hear you.
Oh yeah, you need to talk about that.
Yes.
Is that live now?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll wait a second.
Yes.
You got any other news?
Yes, there.
Good
is-
job. All right.
Next.
Yeah, Orleans.
So please continue.
There is going to be an Orleans draw and write game.
Ooh.
This is designed by Reiner Stockhausen, the designer of Orleans
Never heard of it.
and Altiplano. And this sounds interesting. In Joan of Arc, only Orleans draw and write. 1 to 5 players will draft followers that will help them move about France, gather goods, build buildings, establish trading stations, make money, and contribute to beneficial deeds. The player that is able to best utilize the followers they choose will score the most points available. Each round, a number of follower tiles are pulled from a bag. Players take turns drafting the followers and taking actions that correspond to the follower they've chosen. After all the followers have been drafted, the bag resets until you've exhausted 1 bag per player. So,
Interesting.
yeah, it sounds pretty cool. I love bag building games. So if this has some drawing aspects to it, plus bag building, sign me up.
Yeah.
Orleans didn't blow my mind.
No?
But it was
I loved it.
it
blew my
was-
mind.
It was
I
good.
really enjoyed
You
it.
know, like it wasn't like this game clearly feels really old and sucks, right? Like it seemed like a fine game. I don't know. It gets like a lot of love, and I'm just like, it's good.
It needs the intrigue expansion. I personally think I like Altiplano better. And there's other bag builders I like, but even as a just to me okay bag builder, I still like the game.
Yeah, I haven't
a lot.
played Altiplano yet, but
haven't
it
either.
sounds cool.
Last one. I heard, I don't know how I stumbled on this. This might have been a sponsored ad I saw somewhere, honestly. A game
It's
called
working.
Patriot.
I'm in.
Save or assassinate the
Mel Gibson. Oh.
president in a beautiful, story-filled 1 to 6 player game of social deception
That makes
and
sense.
strategy. Also has a 1 to 2 player campaign. Nice. It has this really gritty looking art style, which I like a lot. It's kind of a dark theme, kind of, like evil government sort of thing going on here. It's going to, if you sign up on Backer Kit, you can play it on Tabletop Simulator. So that's kind of cool. It's not going to hit Kickstarter for at least another 40 days, though. So you got plenty of time. It just sounds really cool. And, of course, I love social deduction games. So,
I mean,
yeah,
we
I'm
just
interested.
spent 40 minutes talking about blood.
That was it.
2 games
Yeah,
of blood on the clock
right.
tower.
That was all.
No, that's cool.
Okay. I
Um,
like the sound of it.
So Asmodee is at it again. They have bought or acquired the distribution rights for Pandasaurus and Awaken Realms. So they will now they don't own Awaken Realms,
Right,
but
right,
they
right.
own the
Distributing.
distribution rights.
Interesting.
So-
That's actually great.
That means
It took me a second to think about it, but Awaken Realms is hard to get.
Right. So
Sometimes,
as long
yeah.
as they're still their own company,
Yeah.
and now they're just handling distribution.
That's actually
okay as long as they
awesome.
keep that separation.
Does that mean their stuff will be available after their Kickstarter campaign?
It sounds like it.
Maybe.
That would be incredible because
Yes.
it's hard.
It would
to
be
get Awaken
interesting to
Realms
see
stuff.
It's
what
tough.
what all falls under distribution rights.
Right,
True.
of
Under
course.
that umbrella.
That is exciting.
And then so by default Asmodee, but the Embracer Group that owns Asmodee. So
That
that's
embraces
that's the conglomerate that owns the world of board gaming.
Right.
They bought the Lord of the Rings IP.
Okay.
Well, the rights to the board game, movie, RPG side.
Okay.
So the Tolkien estate still holds the publishing rights of any of the books.
Sure.
Like so, say they are clearly holding on to that, but Asmodee now essentially by default, I guess because they also own Fantasy Flight.
Right.
So they will probably continue to publish Lord of the Rings stuff under Fantasy Flight. But I believe when Fantasy Flight got bought by them, there was some concern over if that licensing would carry over. So that licensing has carried over. But yeah, they're talking about video games. They're talking about movies. They're talking about, obviously, more board games. I think everybody assumes that they're going to continue to support the just relaunched Lord of the Rings CCG.
yeah, right.
Since they,
would have to.
I mean, they don't have to.
They should.
They should because
I should have to.
assuming that it's going to continue to be as popular as it has been, right?
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
anyways, just point of interest that I, okay, so Asmodee, just I feel like they're the Spectre octopus, right?
Oh,
like they
right.
just got tentacles. Hail Hydra! It's
Wow.
everybody.
That's funny.
Asmodee is just
Dr. Evil.
everywhere.
Let's just go through all
Let's
of them.
just do them all, sure. Okay, so that's it for news.
I've got this is a different kind of news
Oh,
than what we
Good
typically
Lord, I was
I
trying
know.
to
I'm
end it.
trying to segue here, dude.
Well, I mean, we don't talk about this kind of stuff, but this has
There's a reason for that.
This when something hasn't happened in 4.5 years and then it happens, I think it's worth talking about. It's been over 4.5 years since Pandemic Legacy Season 1 was supplanted by Gloomhaven as the number one
Okay,
game
yeah,
of
no,
all
this
time.
isn't. This isn't.
Pandemic Legacy Season 2 became number 2, and it's been like that for 4.5 years. There have been no changes in the top 2 games. Until this week when Brass Birmingham supplanted Pandemic Legacy 1 as the number 2 ranked game.
I'm
of
I
all
thought you were
time.
about to say it took number 1. I was like, what?
No. But still, 4.5 years at number 2.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Honestly,
like
I think I don't off the top of my head. I don't know what the top 5 games are, but to me, they would not be in my top 5 games. More than likely.
We'll talk about this again in like another month when Ark Nova's number 1. So
I'm surprised it's not yet. To be honest,
You
Number
roll
7.
your eyes and shake your head,
It's
but we
getting
felt the
quick.
same way until we played it.
I
I don't
know.
think it's number 1, but it was a lot better than we hoped it would be.
it should be higher than Terraforming Mars, and I don't think it is.
I hope so because I burned all my other games.
You
I don't have
fool!
anything to play until I play Ark Nova.
We
so.
talked about this, Mike. We said don't do
Yeah.
We
that.
said save Munchkin.
Not in my collection.
Okay, well we'll fix
So
that.
there you go. That's our news.
crowdfunding.
Crowdfunded.
Okay, I brought nothing for crowdfunding, except I guess I will just say Foundations of Rome, as of filming this, will be done in like 2 days.
Yeah, that was one of my other ones too.
So
yeah.
you could
It'll be
probably
done-
late pledge it.
Yeah,
By
'cause,
the
like-
time this show's out, it's going to be done.
Yeah, if you want to get it, you'll be able to get out there and get it. And plus, they're going to have a bag especially for the box. You probably want to pick it up because I've got a lot of different styles of bags, and they don't fit in any of them really great except for my board game garage bag. But they'll have a bag specifically for that big, awkward box.
Listen,
So,
Patrick gave me a hard time for not liking this game. He's like, well, that guy worked so hard on that. And it's like, well, it's just because he worked really hard on it, took a big risk, and is now a bajillionaire because he made an awesome game doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah, it
like,
does.
congratulations on a fantastic endeavor.
Which game? I already
Foundations
forgot.
of
Foundations of Rome.
Oh no, you're an idiot.
it's for what it is overpriced for such a
is.
lightweight, overproduced game. Now, as a fan of overproduced games, I mean, it's just if I had spent 150, 200 bucks on that thing, and it's like, oh, I'm done in 45 minutes.
Yes. You know how many times I've gotten to that game at the table already, though?
Sure,
My
but I
games per
just
play
don't
is
feel like
pretty-
it's crunchy
yeah,
enough.
pretty good.
Like
I don't know. I don't know. It is overpriced for sure for what you're getting, 100%. Especially when I found out that the price that I thought was the overpriced one, you don't get anything. You
don't
just get
get-
the base game. That's
Yeah.
the base game price.
Uh-huh.
I think it's
If that was
$250 for
if that was the
Emperor's
everything
Pledge.
price, I'd be like, yeah, it's overpriced, but it's fine. It's insanely overpriced. But
if you could get that game for 100 bucks, I'd be a little bit easier.
With
on it.
all those bits in there?
what,
I'm gonna have to wait a bit for that.
I'm just saying when a game's that good,
don't
I
need
just
it.
don't like how much do we spend for Battlestar Galactica? Foundations of Rome is a much better game than Battlestar Galactica.
It's a table a lot more.
But I
I
love
spent
Battlestar
$25
Galactica.
for my Battlestar
Well,
Galactica.
lucky you,
Well,
okay? 90% of the humans on the planet have not.
Buy Unfathomable for 80, you still got a better game.
Ah,
And you
But
know,
you won't
while,
play it as often.
While I agree that it is expensive
I
for
played
what it
Unfathomable
is,
more than I
if it was
I don't think
a
it's better.
45-minute tactical skirmish game that costed $200, Tim wouldn't say a word.
What?
Oh, he'd say one word. My bad.
Yeah.
He has no
Hold on.
defense.
Hold on. I don't own a 45-minute tactical game that I've spent that much money on.
But if it existed,
He's got anything
I just don't understand the 45-minute thing. Not that it matters. That's your own
No,
personal
I
thing. But I'm
just
just
don't
saying, like,
think-
how much money have you sunk into Cthulhu Wars?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
And I
played-
would much rather play Foundations of Rome 10 times than one game of Cthulhu Wars, you know? Like,
Well, one game of Cthulhu Wars should only take an hour and a half.
I
and I-
disagree. It should only take an hour and a half if hardcore people are like, let's go, we're good at the game.
If you're playing a four-player game, hour and a half, even
Sure.
with Teach. Also, it is crunchier, it is heavier than Foundations of Rome.
Right. That's what I'm saying is I don't
So
think
I
heaviness
find it-
goes into pricing. at all.
I find it a more satisfying experience.
Sure. That's why I said it doesn't matter because it's personal, and that's totally fine. It's just weird to have crunchy with price linked to me.
And you're still
Okay, well, so an investment. So when you buy a game,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people will justify buying a game that's $80. It's like, well, if I play this game like 5 times, I've essentially got my money back, right? Because if you go to the movies and you do this,
right.
you do
Entertainment
that.
dollars.
Right. Entertainment dollars. So you have to play, and you can because of the short
Playtime.
playtime and the accessibility of it. You can play Foundations of Rome enough times, over the span of a month or two to justify that money. But for me, it is still not as satisfying an experience to
Well,
justify
sure.
that money.
It's not as satisfying as playing War Room, but I don't ever get a chance to play it. You know?
Yeah, but there are other games that are cheaper that are just as accessible that I find more satisfying to play.
Okay.
So
I still think they
I
should
think we
come
can all
out-
agree Tim is wrong.
I still think
I'm
they should come out with a cardboard version.
I sleep very
Yeah.
well at night
Why
thinking
not?
that Foundations of Rome is incredibly overrated.
They
Trust
would
me,
sell the mess out
Well,
of a
there's no way
cardboard
the people
version.
working for that company have not considered
It's
that.
going to
and
happen.
stuff,
It's
It
just
might.
a matter
like-
of time.
Yeah, give this Kickstarter more time to blow over, more people to hear
Well,
about
sure,
it,
it's
and
still
maybe they'll
currently
do it.
on
Listen,
Kickstarter,
it
yeah,
is
so.
it is fantastic. It is easy to learn. It is easy to teach. It has amazing mechanics that proc, very well off each other. It's very well developed. I do not enjoy it.
And Tim has amazingly poor opinions of it.
Yeah.
Just
fine.
kidding.
Okay.
I mean,
You could have just stopped after the word opinions.
you could have stopped after amazing.
It wouldn't have made sense, though.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
All right. So other
I
crowdfunding.
also have.
Yes.
I searched, I scrolled forever in Kickstarter, saw nothing interesting.
Luckily,
Crowdfunding.
for all of you, I played some crowdfunding stuff.
Yeah, Bobby's
Played
on
some
it.
crowdfunding.
I
Well,
did.
he did.
I honestly did. So on Tabletop Simulator,
Oh.
yes, I got to talk to and hang out with the guy from Handsome Monkey Gaming.
Is it Liam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is he a handsome monkey?
I did not see his face.
Okay.
Allegedly.
But
he was teaching me the game, like,
handsomeness.
And you're like, I'm not kidding.
There were clues.
Is this a good move?
Yeah. But no, so
dead.
it's called Journey into the Beyond.
Yes.
And it's by Handsome Monkey Gaming. It's a competitive adventure game for 2 to 4 players, but they are doing a cooperative mode. And so the thing is you are dead already, right? And you're kind of going through the world, the Ragnar world, which is like a demi-plane where you're moving about. And you are going through dungeons, fighting monsters, picking up essence to help fuel your abilities and stuff like that. And you can fight each other to take stuff from them and also like send them packing back to the start space. And you're building your powers up so you can fight like the end guy to kind of get into like the through at the end. And so there's all these different classes. I played the criminal, and it felt super thematic because like you're going to start by picking a couple of cards that are in your like ability deck, and then the rest of them are going to get shuffled into your deck. And then as you do certain things, depending on what class you are, if they're thematic for your class, you'll get to unlock more of those. So like if you kill monsters, you get stuff. If you kill opponents, you get stuff. And since my guy's a criminal, kind of like the rogue, every time I would kill him, I'd get 3 cards out of that deck, right? So I was trying to kill him a lot. So that was a lot of fun. But the way the cards would combo were really neat. Like, I got this one card, and like every time I would play a maneuver card, I would put a counter on there. And then after 3 counters, I could remove 3 counters to take one of my ability cards and flip it back over. Because some of them will have like penalties while they're face up, but when you flip the card over, it'll do something cool. And so I was able to, it's kind of like, so it's like I'd spend the 3, and it's like I would rehide. And then I'd flip the card back over and do a bunch of damage to him. Then I'd play some maneuver cards, build up the counter, flip that card back over, and then do a bunch of damage to him again. And so, and he was playing like the wizard guy, so he would got to do like spells and stuff like that. And there's spots around the map where you would go to recharge your mana. And it was just so much fun. Like every time he'd get close, like get up to where like the boss is at, I'd go over there and I'd kill him and unlock some more of my cards because there's no hand limit. So I had like all this handful of cards, but you got to be careful because some of the guys like, because every combat round there's like an approach where you're kind of like coming at each other, and then you have your clash where you actually hit, and you kind of like back up, and then you could do the approach again where you have a chance to do abilities, and you have your clash. And so I just kept silencing him so he couldn't cast his spells against me.
Oh, you jerk.
Yeah, or I would stun him and things like that. And but then some of the monsters you fight though, where they can't be stunned or they can't be silenced or they stun you, so then you can't use your abilities and stuff like that. And it was just a
So
really
maybe I
neat-
picked the wrong person to have play this because that guy will never
Yeah,
want to
he's
talk
like,
to
he's like, this
Because
guy
Bob's
was a
like,
jerk.
Bob just wrecked him
Oh,
in his own
I
game.
kind of did because like it was funny though because I kept playing it and he was just like, "Yep, that's what you're supposed to do."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but
That's
it was a good time. It was super nice. I'm looking forward to checking out more of it.
And
And
just-
And
I
this is coming live soon.
It is
it's
live now.
live right now.
Gotcha.
There's 3 more weeks. So by the time this, there's like a little over 3 weeks. So by the time
Sure.
this airs, it'll
It'll
be
be
at
about
3
3
weeks
weeks.
left. It's like I said, 2 to 4 players. It says 90 to 120 minutes. We played a little less than that.
Okay.
It's almost funded. It's doing all right.
Yeah, it's almost funded. They're 60%.
I'm
of the
guessing
way
it
there.
plays up to like 4 or something though.
Yeah,
what
2
did you say?
2 to 4 players, 90 to
so
120.
I know I
and
said
then-
guessing right after he told me, but
Yeah.
so
He doesn't listen to what I
that's
say.
how guessing
Yeah.
works. Well, I'm just saying that's why the time limit stretches, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Sure, and then because he asked if we want to play with more people or not, and I was like, well, just kind of learning. I don't want other people to have to wait for me when I'm just trying to learn. So it was just him and I,
Yeah, I just want you to have to wait.
yeah,
for
just
me.
you wait on me. And I wasn't feeling well either, so I'm really glad he kind of put up with my like
Nice.
nasally
Oh,
stuff
sure.
and everything. But so there's 4 characters in the base game. And I think he said there was either 6 or 8 other like character classes that you'll be able to choose from.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure if they'll be add-ons or stretch goals or expansion, but he
Sure.
did have them up there and available. He showed them to me, but I was like, well, I had looked at the 4 base
Of course, you
characters.
take a rogue.
Well, I looked at the 4 base characters, and that one seemed the coolest, and it was like the way those combos were tricking off.
The
it was
only
super neat.
Question
I
I
killed
have,
myself
Bob,
a lot too.
is can you make a wand?
You can.
Okay.
No. That's funny. Wow, that's old.
Yeah,
that's
that's a
throwback.
deep. That is like a
Deep cut.
20-year-old
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah. But no, the rogue class was just super cool because like it was one of the abilities where it's like the cards face up. I could draw extra cards. But every card I drew, no matter what deck I was drawing it from, I was taking 2 damage. And so many times, I'm like, oh, I get to draw 3 cards. Like, yeah, but you just died. I was like, oh well, that's fine.
No, I'm really glad. Thank you, Kim
Yeah.
Breeze. Kim sent him our way. It
Oh,
was like,
nice.
hey, like
Okay.
I talked to him about his game. I think you guys would like it.
Okay.
And then I was having a heck of a time trying to schedule something, and I was really
Yep.
glad you were able to take
Yep.
that opportunity because it sounds like it was awesome.
Yeah, it was a bunch of fun.
So,
yeah. Good
so
time.
thank you for doing that.
Yep.
And yeah, that's awesome.
I did get a screen recording of it, so I don't know if we'll be able to like work any of that in here, so you can see some of like the flow or
Sure,
whatever.
and that might come out of its
Um,
own, out of it.
It might be its own kind of a video
Yeah,
thing. Wait, I
yeah,
just
yeah.
dropped the video off. We'll see if he can use it. But I was able to help on one thing because there was at first when we were moving to the different spots because like some of them are numbered. At the end of each turn, you roll a d12 and you spawn essence on that spot, so
Okay.
you can go around and collect it.
Right.
And I thought those were the spots where he was fighting the monsters at. But then he pointed to a blank spot. He's like, "Oh, if you go here, you'll be able to fight a monster." I was like, "Well, there's no number on it." He's like, "No, you don't see the red ring around the outside." And I was like, "Nope." And he's like, "Thank you. Okay, I'll put that out." So he made a note. So hopefully that will help with the other
Right, that's
colorblind people out there. So yeah,
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I mean, an icon, right?
Yeah,
Iconography.
yeah, that's what I told him. I was like,
Yeah,
I go,
or just
icon's
not a
great,
ring.
or
have it like a shaped.
yeah,
thing
but maybe
would
kind of
work.
like a shade through there, like yeah, some like red lines hashed through it, or just something.
Just something to,
make it stand out a little
Yeah.
more, or change the color.
yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I got a crowdfunding campaign. I want to
Good for you.
mention Trailblazers by Bitewing Games. We mentioned that we're going to have an upcoming review for Hike It, which
Yeah.
is of course an outdoor type of game, and I love those kind of themes. This Trailblazers, and I love this description. This is the hiking, biking, and kayaking game that you can take hiking, biking, and kayaking. It's a
Because
a
everything weather resistant.
Is
That's
this,
correct.
Is
It
this the
actually
one
comes-
with the crazy price for the
No,
super
no.
deluxe
No,
components?
but it is the one that you said you hated the look of it.
And an emergency.
We talked
It's
about it in
colorful,
news before.
But the thing is, this game comes in a small. You can get the travel edition, which comes in like a hard shell, waterproof case that zips up. It's got a carabiner on it, so I mean you can literally take it wherever you want. It plays in 1 to 8 players,
this is a
30 minutes.
Totally different game.
This is the designer of Pipeline, Curious Cargo, and Bear Raid. That's Ryan Courtney.
Oh, Bear Raid.
You like
Two-
Bear Raid, don't you?
Two of those games are part of his. This is the third in his spatial puzzle game series that he's doing. That's Pipeline and Curious Cargo. So yeah, I'm interested in Trailblazers. I'll probably end up backing this one. Give me a small game that I can literally take camping and hiking with me. Sure, why not?
So question: if you're out hiking with it and something happens, can you eat the game to survive?
I do
Cardboard,
not
right?
know the answer to that.
You can eat paper. So interesting confusion here. So Trailblazers is what you're talking about. The game that I was talking about is called Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. And that's the one that was
yes.
like just
Yes.
released or announced or whatever. And that one is also supposed to be like, oh, all our pieces are like, water resistant or something. I thought and
Yeah.
everything. So like that's
It's-
just weird.
It is crazy. This one still has plenty of time left. By the time this video comes out, there will still be more than 20 days left. It's already brought 125K, so it's doing pretty well.
Yeah. Oh. 186 wood figures in the deluxe edition.
Wow.
Yeah, screen printed meeples. Yeah, it looks cool, man.
Cool
This
beans.
looks more interesting to me than
Than the
the
John Muir
Trailblazer
Trail. I
John
thought so
Muir
as well.
Trail. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's a video game. No, there was one I thought was really cool, and I was
Yeah,
like,
you
oh, it's a
clicked
video
on
game.
it, yeah.
But it's called like This Ship is a Tomb,
Oh, okay.
and it's like you're going through like a derelict
Okay.
ship.
Okay. Trying to solve
That
a mystery
might
or
be a
something.
tomb.
I mean, I guess we.
Once I saw it was a video game, I kind of stopped looking.
Right,
'cause
right.
I could throw
Later.
in Alan Moon has a game on Kickstarter.
Is
Ticket
it?
to
Oh
Ride
wait,
Designer.
Diamond Dig.
Diamond
Yeah,
Dig.
no, Diamond Dig. That's the one that's it's Mr. B Games.
Mr. B Games and Dan will
Alan
love it because
Moon
it's
and-
push your luck.
Yeah, you push your luck. It's like 6 caves, and you draw chips from a bag, and then
He's
then,
literally
and
reading
then-
off
and
my
then
sheet.
you-
So.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
No, he did some good homework on this, Dan. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's not doing that well. I think this game could be cool. If
It's because we trashed Ticket to Ride in an episode.
that has to
and-
be. We have that kind of pull now.
Oh, right.
It's got 6 different caves you explore. You continue to pull chips, and you continue. You're looking for gold. Most gold at the end of the game wins. But if 2 of your chips match, you bust. So you can only go so far into the cave. And you're like, I better stop now and just take this stuff back with me. And that mechanic is always pretty cool.
Yeah, that's isn't that like what's that game Diamant or whatever? Isn't that what
Or
that's all
Ink and
about?
Gold.
Ink and Gold
Yes,
and Diamant are like
that's
the same
a great
thing.
game.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. I like push your luck games.
I do as well.
All right. Are we going to now we'll just do
Yeah, I think that's it for
our moments?
crowdfunding.
Okay, let's go. Everybody just try to pick one
I'm already there.
thing you love about Gen Con, your favorite Gen Con moment.
I really don't know.
Mike.
I got one.
Go ahead, Bob.
So, Mike and I are walking around, and we walk by the Forbidden Games booth, and I'm looking at this game. Like, oh, that looks interesting. The lady's explaining it to me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that seems kind of cool. And I look at the instruction book, and I'm like, oh, it's Glenn Drover. No wonder I like it. And Mike goes, well, he's standing right there. I go, what? And the guy turns around, and sure enough, he's got a Glenn Drover tag on. I'm like, ah!
He smiles. There's like a little
ding.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Through
fanboy
the
over a
mask.
lot of like designers like Tim does sometimes.
Hey.
But like David Turksey and Glenn Drover are two of my favorite designers. I love so much of their work, and it was just so awesome to me. He was a super nice guy. He signed my game for me, did an interview for us. I had to work that morning, so unfortunately I was unable to be
I got to go do the
around there.
interview.
I know, you got to go do the interview. But now we can officially say friend of the show because we used to talk about it a lot.
And I've even
But-
told him about the joke.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
told him about it. He
But,
laughed. He's like, "Oh yeah, use it.
Yeah,
That's great."
That's awesome. Super nice guy. Like I said, great designer. I love so much of his work that that was really
No, I mean,
Really
so
nice.
seriously, yeah. You say, "Oh, I fanboy over the designers." We meet some of these designers, especially. Well, so we interact with a lot of more independent designers,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
And every single one of them that we have talked to has been very kind
Yeah.
and very generous, and usually seems genuinely friendly, and excited to talk to
Yes.
us. So when you meet somebody like Glenn Drover, who has been around a while, very well established,
Yep.
is a known quantity, and he was just as nice
Yes.
as Ron Halliday, right? Who
Yeah.
is a small indie guy, right?
Yep.
Or Joey Vigor, smaller designer, is just as nice and awesome. And it's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, please, thank you for being so cool.
right. Yeah, it was super cool. Because like a couple of his games are like so high up on my list, and then that's why I was like, no wonder I'm gonna like this game. It's got your name on it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, no. I go, you and David Tursi. He's like, oh, we worked on the Mosaic. I'm like, I know, I already backed it.
I went
So, yeah.
back.
And then it would only been better if he's like, and he's right here.
Pops up out of a box.
this mosaic box explodes and confetti comes out.
I went back just to buy Lizard Wizard and have him sign it.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
hey, friend of Board Game Rundown, please sign this for me. Awesome.
Hell yeah.
All right, Mike.
Fantastic.
What do you got?
Yeah, time.
My favorite moment was probably talking to Keith Mateka from Thunderworks Games and
Yeah.
learning about Dawn of Eulos. It is no surprise that Role Player is one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
And hopefully I got his name right that time. But I
think you did.
wanted to see Dawn
Yeah, because you
Eulos.
want to Mateka
I
it.
introduced myself to
That's
Keith,
what he said.
chatted him up about Tenpenny Parks and Dawn of Eulos. It comes out September 6th, and it is not a game you would expect from the role-player universe, It is not an RPG at all. This is you're bidding for different territories, and man, that game looks super cool. I just wanted to learn about it, and I wanted to meet him because I'm a big fan of a lot of stuff they've done. So that was
Thunderworks is really good.
Yeah,
The more
they-
I've played of their games, the more I've.
So that
Enjoy
was
'em.
awesome to meet him and learn about their upcoming game.
Cool.
Daniel.
I mean, it's been really hard for me to think of something specific. I mean, because so at Origins, we had like a designer recognize us, and
That was
that
super
was
cool.
amazing. That was really easy for me to
Two
remember.
designers recognize us.
Uh,
One of them a big designer.
Well, so there were some things here that were like kind of similar, or also Tim and I were walking down the hall once, and I said, "Hey, that's Ignacy."
Oh no, I ran back to you.
Oh, you pointed
but
him
you
out.
were like, yeah, I know,
Oh yeah, okay.
because I pointed out to you weren't there yet, but I pointed out to Bob and who else was Andrew, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
oh bastards, like
Yeah.
I gotta find somebody
Give
who
me some
can
extra
do
notes.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Daniel was behind us because he had the camera.
Yep.
And so I ran back to Dan, and I'm like, Dan, did you see Ignacy? He's like, yeah. And so then we like walked back to the Lasercraft booth, and then it's like, Dan, let's go find Ignacy. We just got our picture with Tom Vassell.
Yep.
And then we were
From
like,
Dice Tower.
right. And then it's like, Dan, we should go back to the portal booth and find and see if Ignacy's still there and get our picture. And Dan's like, yes. I'm like, so we're walking back, and there he is, walking towards us.
Yep.
It was so good.
And
Was
you know,
it,
it
were
was
his
just,
arms out like?
yeah, yeah, it
"Oh."
was, and he was holding. He had one copy of each of his games, like staggered. And he's just like,
He's talking to Mike.
but yeah, so we got our picture with him. and-
He was very kind.
yeah,
you know,
super,
just
again, we were like, hey, obviously we don't want to bother you, but if you have time and stuff, he was like, yeah, absolutely, you know.
yeah,
So,
it was nice. He did not big time us.
yeah.
He's yeah.
But that was really cool. But honestly, this is one of those, cheap things for me that this Gen Con, like, I basically most of my time there was.
Don't you steal
I
my
was,
thing.
I was like tech guy. I was running cameras and I was setting up interviews and stuff, right? So really, if I had to say like what was like my standout moment, I just don't know if I have a specific moment this time because my whole thing is I was working Gen Con and like. That's crazy. You know, if you had told me 5 years ago, that's like a dream
Yeah.
of mine, you know? And so, like, I would just be walking around and talking to designers, and they'd be taking business cards from me and talking. And there were some people, you had it too, but right? But there were some people that would like take the business card and like show us on their phone, hey, I just subscribed, or I just followed you guys on Discord, or like, you know, this kind of stuff. I ran into Board Game Co., you know, another pretty big YouTuber, and you know, we talked a little bit about the business, and he took a business card. Actually, he took a picture of my business card, and then I was like, I just have one, you know. And that was really cool, but.
And we met some Dice Tower people.
Yep.
Like I got my picture with Sam
You
Healy.
got with your
but
picture with
he's-
Sam, and I just talked to Z for a little bit.
Sure, but that's
Yeah.
awesome, right?
Yeah.
You know, like as much as I jokingly say, like, oh, Z is my least favorite person. Actually,
of Dice Tower.
Dice Tower.
You should continue that sentence.
I should, but it's not like I don't think he's a good person or anything.
Right.
It's just like, oh, I don't agree with him very
No,
often.
honestly, Z, I know you're watching.
Yeah, right.
But no, seriously, it was so nice to see how humble he was because he was walking with, I don't know if it's someone he's in a relationship with or if they were just because she also works for Dice Tower, but they were together a lot, so I don't know if they were just running a certain part of the channel,
Sure.
or if they're like together or something. But I caught up and I was like, hey, I don't mean to bother you guys. I just want to say I'm a huge fan. Blah blah blah. You know that whole spiel. And talked about how, you know, it's one of the reasons I'm in this business is because I used to just sit on my couch and watch them, right? And, like, Z is, like, instant humble, like, when he talks. He literally, like, just got, like, kind of, like, not stoic, but just, like, he was, like, you have no idea how much that means to us when people say stuff like
That's
that
awesome.
to us. And, like, just so heartfelt. Like, I want to start crying just from his response, you know?
No, that's great.
but- and
now
just-
I feel like I need to not say mean things about tasting games.
I already was crying.
Right. But yeah, and just having people walk up to me because I'm pushing a camera on and being like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? What are you guys here?" And I'm just like, "Oh, we're a YouTube channel." They're like, "Oh, cool. Like, if you want to interview us, set up a time with us, stuff, right?" Just because I'm carrying a camera around, you know, and yeah. So again, I don't know how specific I can get here, but like. And I didn't mention Mission Control because I didn't play. But
Jan did get stuck with the camera on that, and I say stuck because you would love it.
well, the cameras weren't even. The camera was just sitting there on a tripod. It was just that it was only 4 people.
No,
And I got
also
there
true.
last.
Also
that
true.
was all it was. But yeah, so I don't know if I can say something specific other than the fact that I was at Gen Con for business, and it felt like I was working Gen Con as a board game convention as like an employee of a business. And people were like talking to me about business
You
and the
felt
future.
like a peer,
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's literally stunning. I mean, last time I went to Gen Con 6 years ago, whatever, I was just a dude walking around like, hey, I like Pandemic and stuff. And now to be like, yes, Board Game Rundown, we have this many subscribers. We're looking for more people to reach out. Do you have a marketing manager that we can talk to and stuff? And like having those, it's just crazy,
Yeah,
you know.
it's crazy. It's
Dan
super
was grinding
crazy.
at Gen Con, and we appreciate it.
Well, so I'm going to say two things. Since nobody brought up Mission Control,
Yeah,
I
that's why-
must
okay,
say
yep.
Mission Control at the Third World Studios booth was my most fun experience at any Gen Con I've ever had. It was so much fun.
A blast.
They did Keith that ran the booth that taught the game and
Yeah,
like kept the
he
game
was
running.
fantastic.
Provided an amazing
Yeah.
experience. And then we did get to Dan and I got to interview the designers of it the next morning. The girl who like checked us all in, like we learned that she designed the suits
Oh, nice.
that they were
Nice.
wearing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but she was also cool. Like everybody was in character, and everybody was so cool and created this amazing
Atmosphere.
and experience.
Yeah.
And then Michael, who we talked to, then we talked to him also when we were back at that booth. He helped design with Richard Lanius the Batman the
Yes.
Animated Series Attack on Gotham City. I probably butchered that, but like. So he was there. I got to meet him. He's got a YouTube channel called The Full 42, and it's like him and Chris Strain and Katya. Howitson.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Friend of the
Yeah.
show.
Talk
Friend
to
of,
him.
I
Talk
can
to her a
legit
bit.
say Katya's friend of the show.
right.
Because I walked by, I saw her to go, Katya, and she goes, Tim. And I was like,
Yep.
oh, she knows me.
Oh man,
First name basis, cool.
Friend of the show now.
Yeah.
But
that was pretty nice. Just because while you guys were playing Mission Control, while you were talking about Mission Control, there was nothing for us to do, so I just stood there with Katya. Katya, I don't know how to say it. Sorry, and we just talked.
Yeah.
The whole time, like, you know, it was just like, just like, because I'm just watching all them have a bunch of fun.
But,
They look
oh,
like
go
We
on.
got a live
fun.
video. It
Yep.
really does a great job of replicating
Yeah,
how
it's
chaotic
chaotic.
the game is.
It's up there. It is
Props to our editor on that.
real time roll and write where people are like different space organizations like NASA stuff, and they're working together to get a stranded astronaut out of space.
So that was I had to mention that but my real number one, what I was going to say, my favorite thing is along the lines of what Dan just said. It is every Gen Con that I've been to before, I am helping out at a booth, and I'm just there to like help out at the booth so I get the free pass, you know, and maybe earn some swag, or
Right.
you meet a designer, but not as a media person, just like, oh, I like this designer, you know, and like, oh, you work their booth, and then you get to play a game with them later.
Right.
Fantastic. Super excited about that. But this year, right, we had it with Origins, and Gen Con was that, but like somehow 100 times more. Because there's this weird confluence of events that happened to us as a show around Gen Con. Okay, so we dropped the overhyped video. We're at Gen Con, and I think it's got like 1,000 views. And we're like, oh, what's going to do better? That or my father's work? And it's like, well, my father's work's going to do better. Then, next thing I know, it's at like 2,000 views, you know, the overhyped video. And then it's at like 3,000 views. And then it's at like 4,000 views. And all this is happening.
Good point.
And we're gaining like subscribers at like this crazy rate.
And meanwhile, we're like trying to work and stuff, but we're always like, ooh.
and so I just want to say that, like, you know, the success of that recent video and all the bumps in subs and everything aside, to be there as a legitimate content creator, and more than just like, I totally understand like the whole peer, like I'm here, like I have just the same good reason, you know, to talk to these guys as Dice Tower does, and as the Game Boy Geek does. You know what I mean? And the Hungry Gamer, it's like, no, we're getting
Right. They'll just give us less free stuff.
yeah. But I mean, like people were genuinely interested. We made a lot of amazing connections. Like I talked to one of the graphic designers from Legendary from Upper Deck, and got his card. We just made all these connections, and it is. I could not be more proud of all of you guys in the way that you represented us, and just like Sam or Z, just humbled by the opportunity and that anybody actually watches this dang thing, you know, and that people, the interaction that we've had with people on Discord or via YouTube comments and everything is just, it blows me away. We started this thing 2 years ago. It's been a grind. I've loved every single second of it. The good, the bad, the ugly, every single second of it. I am so glad. But it really, Gen Con, I feel like it turned a corner and it really started to gain some legs. And it's freaking me out, man, in like a very good way. Because Daniel and I, like every second that I had, pretty much when I was not working at the DV Games booth, I was like, okay, Dan, where are we going?
Right.
And Dan was great because it was never like, meh. I mean, Dan was like, let's go. Or if I was like, Dan's like, oh, we should get over here because and see if they're over there. And I mean, we doubled back. I mean, if you would have seen like
Sure.
if you could have just followed us, because a lot of times it's like, well, they're talking to somebody. Let's go over here. Oh, they're open. Blah, 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 talk to them. Let's go over here. Nope, nothing over here. All the way over here. Oh, he's free. Let's talk to him.
Yeah.
Then up here. Hey guys, and then down here. And I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And but everybody worked so hard, and I hope everybody had a great time because it was just a crazy experience. I cannot wait to do a Gen Con where I am just full-time just doing media stuff.
Soon.
Yeah.
Board Game Rundown is going places. We're nearing on 2,000 subscribers.
Oh, it's great.
Within 20 to 30 days, we're going to be there.
I mean,
by Gen Con next year, 5K plus.
this time last year we were at like 500-600 subs, and we've almost tripled it.
Sure. And all the growth has happened in the last 6 months.
Yeah,
So-
legitimately. Legitimately. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me that not only are you just as into this as I am, but that you put up with all of my BS so that
Well,
we can
most
get
of
It's
it
tough.
done. So we can get it done. 'Cause
Special thank you to all the bots out there.
this is the passion project, man.
I forgot
this is
about
my baby.
I forgot about this just to really nail my point home and like what Tim was saying stuff is so again I was at Gen Con this year and Daniel Stafford, right, boring old Dan,
Agreed.
was texting and emailing back and forth with the guy named Peter Vaughn from Cardboard Alchemy because we were setting up appointments to interview for Flamecraft. He's one of the he's one of the people in Cardboard Alchemy that do Flamecraft with Lucky Duck, right? And just the fact that he's emailing me and stuff, and I'm emailing back, and I'm just like, is this real? Yeah, it's just crazy. But anyway, I meant to mention that.
I mean, it just blows my mind where it's like Saturday after Bob and Mike meet Glenn Drover, and it's like, oh, he would talk to us. So then I immediately, as soon as I got done working the booth, ran over to Glenn Drover's booth and was like, hey, man, like, I know you already talked to my friend, but, you know, would you have any time, you know, it can be tomorrow, it can be later, you know, and he's like, yeah, just meet me here at blah, blah, blah time. And sure enough, like, the rest of the day, it's like, I got an interview with Glenn Drover tomorrow morning.
Right.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, sorry. Continue.
No, I mean, that's it.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought that was a period, and I just
No,
started
yeah,
talking.
sure.
But I just want to say a slight highlight for me as well was just that Bob was demoing Last Light. You got to demo Last Light.
Yeah.
We didn't mention that, by the way. In games played, technically,
true.
that would have been
been.
one. But
Was Lance Mikester teaching you?
no,
Viking?
he was there.
No.
He was
Oh,
not
okay.
teaching, but he was like at the booth as
Sure.
well. And so Bob's teaching it, and Roy Hanaday walks up, and he's just like looking over and stuff, and he was like, "So how's the game going?" And like no one was like reacting, and so I was like, the designer, like I literally like said that, and like everyone like turned around. He was just like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like, and like he was just talking about the game for a second. He walked away, and it was just like that kind of stuff is so cool to me. You can just be sitting playing a game that's not out yet, and then the designer walks up and asks you how your experience is going so far. You know, like that's the kind of stuff when I'm not work Dan, when I'm just civilian Dan, right? That's the one that I'm just like, ah. Like that stuff is so cool to me.
Yeah.
And-
that was a neat game too, by the way.
And
I
just
forget that.
just to wrap up, I guess BA Games guys
Yes.
are awesome.
Always a
Their
treat.
families are
Yep.
amazing
Yep.
and wonderful. I love them. Dougie.
Yeah,
Hobbs,
oh, man,
amazing
Dougie.
artist.
I've been getting a lot
Dougie.
of his emails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
Whoops. Anyways, Dougie was great. It was fun to talk to him. I got to meet Lauren Brown in person,
Yep.
the artist from Deck of Wonders. I bought some pins from her for my
Yeah,
kids.
we should have just kept a list of all the people we've met because it would be so long.
I watched.
like trying to remember this.
I
is
watched
crazy.
people walk up to her booth and gush, and
Yeah.
it made my heart just explode with
Yeah.
happiness for her. I was,
She's the YouTube short on our channel that is sideways, so you can see her if you want. I was trying to figure out a way because I'm new to the shorts. I was trying to figure out a way to force it to be
can't.
landscape, and you just can't.
just
I was trying. I was like, I'm gonna record this one this way. It's probably not gonna work, but I'll see what I can do.
multiple times, Joey Vigor took a ton of time and just talked to Dan even off camera.
Yep.
And like we were talking shop. I mean, we were talking industry. We were just talking all kinds of
he
stuff.
loves talking industry, and I love it because
it's
this
amazing.
is something that I just say honestly. Is the more people talk to us about industry, like the more people that are comfortable enough with us to talk to us about industry, knowing that we're not just gonna like, go to Facebook and be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is happening, right? That is huge for us as a smaller channel because it's not that we need to know that information. It's that telling us that information gives us a mindset that we now know how to talk to other people, right?
And-
so with Vigor telling us like, hey, this is how this kind of process works, right? Then when we talk to another distributor, we don't need to talk about that process, but we know when they're talking, we understand what
yeah,
they're saying
just
better.
it fills in so many gray
Right,
areas.
and so
right,
our
for us.
responses will be better educated,
Yeah.
right? And like it is huge when you can do that kind of stuff for a smaller channel. It's been amazing.
Yeah, and then getting to play Carnivalesco
Yep.
and Hike It was
Well, we
so
didn't play
awesome.
Hike It, but we watched.
Right, we'll watch Hike It in person. Just so excited, that he took the time to talk to us and hang out with us. It was so much fun.
Yep.
So anyways, guys, Gen Con was freaking amazing. It was
was.
great for the show.
Yeah.
Could not have done it without everybody here and Spencer and Andrew
And
as
the
well.
people that weren't here.
Well,
aren't
and Matthew
here, yeah.
too. Matthew killed it.
Yeah.
Like we're slowly pulling him in as he started
Playing
joined
some
us,
games.
play some games and
Yep.
stuff like that too.
That was cool.
too. So it's super great.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, that has been a lot.
That was a lot.
But we had a lot to talk about.
That's
Yeah,
Gen
it
Con.
was a big, big show.
Yeah, big time of the year.
It's Chinatown. It's just Chinatown. That's a line from a movie.
I know.
Because you said it's Gen Con.
Right.
Good game too.
It is a good game. I really like it.
It's a good game.
So for the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
Bob.
I was Mike.
Dan.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for checking out the Board Game Rundown. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Share our videos on social media and spread the word. We publish new content weekly, including reviews, unboxing, and Let's Plays. And as always, thanks for watching.